A customer called 911 because McDonald's ran out of chicken nuggets. But that's not even close to the stupidest complaint I found. What I discovered digging through thousands of fast food complaints will make you question humanity itself. 1. Walk into any burger chain, expecting restaurant-quality food, and you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Fast food operates on a completely different planet than fine dining. The goal isn't to impress your taste buds with artisanal ingredients or chef-crafted masterpieces. It's about getting edible food to masses of people as quickly and cheaply as possible. The person flipping your burger, probably a teenager earning minimum wage who learned the job yesterday. They're not trained culinary artists with years of experience. They're high school students trying to make gas money. And the weird part is, people still expect Gordon Ramsay-level perfection from someone who's never even seen a real kitchen knife. Then there's the ingredients themselves. Everything comes frozen, pre-made, or shipped in giant industrial containers. The lettuce arrives pre-shredded in plastic bags. The beef patties come frozen in stacks. Even the fresh buns are mass-produced in factories hundreds of miles away. Compare that to your local restaurant where the chef actually chops vegetables and seasons meat by hand. But here's what really gets people confused. They see the marketing photos, those beautiful perfectly stacked burgers with glistening tomatoes and crispy lettuce. Those images are created by food stylists using tweezers and special lighting. The reality is assembly line food made by rushed workers during lunch hour chaos. Fast food chains aren't hiding this fact, they're just not advertising it. The entire business model depends on speed and affordability, not gourmet excellence. Expecting anything else is like going to a gas station and complaining they don't have premium wine. 2. Most people walk into McDonald's expecting a Big Mac that looks like the poster. What they get instead is something that appears to have been assembled during an earthquake. The Golden Arches weren't built on culinary excellence. They were built on speed and consistency. Yet customers still act shocked when their quarter pounder doesn't taste like it came from a 5-star restaurant. Fast food chains use mass-produced ingredients shipped from centralized facilities. That means your burger patty was probably frozen weeks ago, your buns were baked in a factory hundreds of miles away, and your lettuce was chopped by machines, not chefs. The whole system is designed around efficiency, not flavor complexity. When you're serving millions of customers daily, handcrafted anything becomes impossible. Then there's the staffing reality. Most fast food kitchens aren't run by experienced cooks. They're staffed by teenagers earning their first paycheck. These kids learn basic assembly procedures, not culinary techniques. They're following pictures on screens, not recipes from cooking school. The average fast food worker receives maybe a few hours of training before they're expected to pump out hundreds of orders during rush periods. The business model revolves around keeping prices low and service fast. Premium ingredients cost more money and take more time to prepare. Chains like McDonald's have perfected the art of making food that's acceptable to the masses while maintaining razor-thin profit margins. Your $5 meal isn't supposed to compete with a $25 restaurant entree. But somehow customers keep expecting gourmet results from a drive-through window. 3. Mistakes happen when you're cranking out hundreds of orders every hour. That's just basic math. But some customers act like their wrong order is a personal attack from the universe. The reality: fast food accuracy rates are actually pretty terrible across the board. KFC scored just 81% accuracy in a recent industry study. Think about that for a second. 1 out of every 5 orders gets messed up somehow. McDonald's and Burger King don't fare much better. When you're dealing with drive-through orders, walk-in customers and delivery apps all at the same time, something's bound to slip through the cracks. Customizations make everything worse. Ask for no pickles, extra sauce, light lettuce, and you've just tripled the chances of human error. The kid at the register is juggling 3 different order screens while trying to hear you over the fryer beeping in the background. Recipe for disaster, right? Then there's the constant staff turnover issue. Many chains are essentially running training camps 24/7 because employees quit faster than they can be replaced. New workers get maybe 2 days of training before they're thrown into the lunch rush. The experienced staff, they're usually managing the chaos, not taking orders. Split attention is the real killer though. Modern fast food workers aren't just handling one thing anymore. They're taking drive-through orders while bagging counter orders, while confirming delivery pickups. It's like playing 3 chess games at once. And the weird part is, we expect perfection from this system that's clearly designed for speed over accuracy. Your special order is fighting against a machine built for volume. 4. Fast food chains love showing off these perfect burger photos on their menus. You know the ones: towering lettuce leaves, glistening tomatoes, perfectly melted cheese draped just so over a juicy patty. The bun sits at the ideal angle, every ingredient visible and appetizing. Then you order that exact same burger and get something that looks like it went through a blender. Here's what actually happens behind those glossy menu boards. Professional food photographers spend hours crafting one single burger for those shots. They use tweezers to place each lettuce leaf. The cheese might actually be melted plastic because it photographs better under hot lights. Sometimes they even paint the burger patties with shoe polish to get that perfect brown color. No joke, actual shoe polish. Meanwhile, your burger gets assembled by someone making $12 an hour during the lunch rush. They've got 30 seconds to slap your order together before the next one comes down the line. The lettuce gets grabbed by the handful and dumped on. The cheese slice lands wherever it lands. The bun often gets squished in the wrapper before you even see it. Then there's the packaging factor that nobody talks about. Those beautiful menu photos show burgers sitting freely on clean plates. Your burger gets wrapped in paper, stuffed in a bag, and sits there steaming in its own moisture. By the time you unwrap it, everything's shifted around, and the bottom bun is soggy. The difference between expectation and reality isn't just disappointing, it's almost comical how different they look. 5. Fast food restaurants aren't trying to be fancy, they're trying to get you fed and out the door as quickly as possible. When you walk into McDonald's expecting the kind of burger you'd get at a sit-down restaurant, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. These places were literally designed around speed, not sophistication. The ingredients come from massive food processing plants, not local farms. Those burger patties, they're frozen, shipped in bulk, and cooked on timers. The lettuce gets pre-shredded and stored in giant bins. Everything's portioned out ahead of time to keep things moving fast. You're not getting hand-picked tomatoes or artisan cheese here. Then there's the staffing situation. Most fast food workers are teenagers or young adults making minimum wage. They're not trained chefs with culinary degrees. They're kids trying to earn gas money. The kitchen is really more like an assembly line where someone drops frozen fries into a fryer and someone else squirts sauce from a dispensing gun. The whole business model revolves around keeping costs low and speed high. These companies figured out decades ago that most customers care more about getting their food in 3 minutes than getting restaurant-quality ingredients. They've perfected the art of making food that tastes decent enough while being incredibly cheap to produce. But here's the thing, fast food chains are surprisingly honest about what they are. They never claim to be gourmet. The prices reflect the quality, and the speed reflects the simplicity. When you pay $3 for a burger, you're getting exactly what $3 buys you. 6. Fountain soda machines are basically chemistry experiments gone wrong. The syrup-to-water ratio gets messed up constantly, turning your Coke into either sugar water or bitter disappointment. Some locations taste like they're serving liquid candy, while others make you wonder if someone forgot the syrup entirely. Staff rarely check these ratios during busy shifts. Then there's the cleaning issue. These machines need deep cleaning more often than most people change their sheets, but it doesn't always happen. Mold and bacteria love hanging out in those syrup lines, creating funky tastes that make your drink smell like a science project. Old syrup builds up in the nozzles, mixing yesterday's flavors with today's order. Ice quality plays a huge role too. Dirty ice machines produce cloudy, weird-tasting cubes that mess with your drink before the soda even hits your cup. Some locations use unfiltered water, so your Sprite might taste like the local tap water with bubbles added. Ever notice how the same soda brand tastes completely different at McDonald's versus Burger King? It's not your imagination. The worst part, some chains don't train staff to recognize when something's off. That metallic taste in your Diet Pepsi could be from old lines, but the teenager at the counter might not even know there's a problem. Fast food locations often prioritize speed over quality control, so machine maintenance gets pushed to when we have time. Well, that time rarely comes during rush hours when you're actually ordering. 7. Salt levels at fast food chains bounce around like a pinball machine. One batch of fries tastes perfect, the next makes you reach for water immediately. The problem starts with how employees season food. Most eyeball the salt instead of measuring it precisely. Fresh fries straight from the fryer get the ideal amount of seasoning, but here's where things get messy. Older batches sitting under heat lamps tend to get extra salt added to boost their fading flavor. Staff members shake salt containers with different intensities too. Some barely dust the fries, others go heavy-handed like they're salting a driveway in winter. Then there's the chain-wide strategy issue. Many restaurants deliberately oversalt their food because salt enhances all other flavors. It makes that mediocre burger taste more satisfying and tricks your brain into thinking the food is fresher than it actually is. Sneaky, right? The numbers tell an interesting story. A large order of McDonald's fries packs around 400 milligrams of sodium, That's roughly 17% of your daily recommended intake in one side dish. But the real kicker, that number assumes consistent salting, which rarely happens in practice. Rush periods make the problem worse. When lines are wrapped around the building, employees dump salt faster and move on to the next batch. Quality control takes a backseat to speed. The salt shaker becomes a magic wand for masking mistakes rather than a precise seasoning tool. Different shifts have different salt preferences too, so your evening fries might taste completely different from lunch. 8. McDonald's ice cream machines have become the stuff of legend, but not in a good way. Those temporarily out of order signs might as well be permanent fixtures at this point. The problem runs deeper than most people realize though. These soft-serve machines are basically temperamental beasts that require a 4-hour cleaning cycle every single day. During that time, no ice cream for anyone. The machines also have to hit specific temperatures, and if they're even slightly off, they automatically shut down. 1 degree too warm and boom, broken sign goes up. But here's where it gets really frustrating. The repair technicians often aren't available immediately when something breaks. We're talking about specialized equipment that regular employees can't fix. So when a part fails or the machine throws an error code, it could be days before someone shows up to repair it. McDonald's actually partnered with a company that makes notoriously finicky machines. The Taylor C602 model is so problematic that it spawned entire websites tracking which locations have working ice cream. Some franchise owners have admitted their machines break down multiple times per week. Then there's the training issue. Staff members often don't know how to properly maintain these machines, which leads to more breakdowns. The cleaning process is so complex that if done incorrectly, it can actually damage the equipment. And the weird part is, other chains don't seem to have this problem nearly as much. Burger King and Wendy's somehow keep their frozen treats flowing, but McDonald's can't seem to crack the code on reliable soft-serve delivery. 9. Fast food workers aren't exactly raking in the big bucks. Most earn minimum wage or just slightly above it, which creates a pretty obvious problem. When you're making $8.12 an hour dealing with demanding customers all day, your motivation to go above and beyond tends to drop faster than a phone with a cracked screen. High turnover makes things even messier. These places constantly hire new people because experienced workers keep leaving for better opportunities. Who can blame them? The result is a revolving door of employees who barely know the menu, let alone how to handle difficult situations with grace. Training programs exist, sure, but they're usually rushed affairs focused on speed rather than customer service excellence. Then there's the stress factor that everyone seems to ignore. Peak rush hours turn these kitchens into complete chaos zones. Orders flying in from drive-through, delivery apps and walk-in customers all at once. Meanwhile, managers are often juggling multiple responsibilities or dealing with their own corporate pressure from above. When everyone's overwhelmed, politeness becomes the first casualty. Some survey results paint a pretty clear picture of the problem. Customer courtesy ratings at many fast food chains hover around average at best, with some locations scoring significantly lower. The weird part is that friendly service costs absolutely nothing to provide, but it's often the hardest thing to find. Staff members who do maintain positive attitudes despite the chaos deserve serious credit, because they're fighting an uphill battle against a system that prioritizes speed over smiles. 10. Fast food restaurants love putting up pictures of their tables that look spotless and inviting. The reality? You're lucky if you find a clean surface that isn't sticky from the last 3 customers. Walk into any busy location during lunch rush, and you'll see crumbs scattered across tables, mystery stains that could be ketchup or something far worse, and floors so sticky your shoes make that gross peeling sound with every step. It's like walking through a candy store that's been hit by a tornado. The problem isn't necessarily that staff don't care. During peak hours, these places serve hundreds of people per hour. Tables get wiped down with the same dirty rag that's been used on 20 other surfaces. Makes sense, right? When there's a line out the door and orders backing up, detailed cleaning becomes a luxury nobody has time for. Then there's the matter of kids. Somehow children can turn a simple chicken nugget meal into what looks like a food fight crime scene. Surveys consistently show that dirty dining areas rank as one of the top complaints at fast food chains. The sticky floors are often the result of spilled sodas that get a quick mop but never really get clean. Older locations struggle even more because years of wear and tear make surfaces harder to sanitize properly. Staff turnover doesn't help either. Minus new employees might not know proper cleaning procedures, and managers are often too busy putting out other fires to supervise. The truth is, if you want a pristine dining experience, fast food probably isn't your best bet. 11. Fast food prices have jumped 51% in just 1 decade. That's not a typo. Your favorite burger combo that cost $6 in 2014 now runs you over $9. Meanwhile, the quality hasn't budged an inch. Same frozen patty, same wilted lettuce, same cardboard-tasting bun. Inflation hits everything from beef to rent. But here's the kicker. Those price hikes don't translate into fresher ingredients or better preparation. The potatoes for your fries still come from the same suppliers. The chicken nuggets are still processed in massive factories and shipped frozen. Your burger is still assembled by a teenager making minimum wage who learned the job yesterday. Chains now compete with fast casual restaurants that actually use fresh ingredients. But instead of upgrading their food quality, most fast food places just raised prices and hoped customers wouldn't notice. Value meals that used to be genuine bargains now cost more than full restaurant meals did a few years back. The real gut punch. Some locations charge different prices for identical menu items. A Big Mac in Manhattan costs twice what it does in rural Ohio, but the ingredients come from the same distribution center. Corporate executives justify price increases by pointing to labor costs and supply chain issues. Fair enough, but customers still get the same reheated, mass-produced food they always did. Restaurant industry analysts call this premiumization without improvement. Fancy term for charging steakhouse prices for cafeteria food. The disconnect between what you pay and what lands on your tray has never been wider. 12. Fast food chains control sauce packets like they're guarding state secrets. Walk into any burger joint and ask for extra ketchup, and you'll see the cashier's face tighten. They'll reluctantly hand over 2 measly packets, as if each one costs them personally. But here's the thing, those tiny packets actually do cost more than you'd think. Condiment expenses add up fast when you're serving millions of customers daily. A single ketchup packet might only cost a few cents, but multiply that by thousands of locations and billions of orders. The numbers get scary for corporate accountants. Some chains have actually implemented strict policies limiting packets to 2 per menu item. Ask for more, and you might get charged extra or face the dreaded "we can only give you what's reasonable" speech. Then there's the staffing issue during rush hours. Workers are juggling drive-through headsets, cash registers and food assembly all at once. Details like sauce packets get forgotten when there's a line of angry customers stretching to the parking lot. Your nuggets arrive sauce-free not because anyone hates you but because the 17-year-old behind the counter is trying to manage 17 different tasks simultaneously. The real kicker. Some locations have removed self-serve condiment stations entirely. They claim it's for hygiene reasons, but cost control plays a huge role too. When customers could grab their own packets, some would take handfuls for later. Now everything goes through staff, creating another bottleneck in an already chaotic system. Makes you miss those little pumps, right? 13. Fast food restaurants weren't designed to be libraries or cozy cafes. They're built for volume, speed, and maximum customer turnover. The open floor plans that feel so spacious when empty become acoustic nightmares when packed with families, teenagers, and delivery drivers all competing for space. Most locations pump in upbeat music to keep energy high and encourage faster eating. The playlist isn't chosen for your dining pleasure. It's calculated to match the pace managers want customers to maintain. Slower songs might make you linger over that burger for an extra 10 minutes, which kills profits during lunch rush. Then there's the playground factor. Many locations still feature indoor play areas that turn dining rooms into echo chambers. Kids screaming with delight sounds adorable to their parents, but less charming when you're trying to have a phone conversation or enjoy a quiet meal. The hard surfaces, tile floors, plastic seating, metal fixtures, amplify every sound instead of absorbing it. Let's not forget the constant stream of delivery drivers checking in, mobile orders being called out over intercoms, and drive-through communications bleeding into the dining area. Staff members shout orders across kitchens, fryer timers beep relentlessly, and ice machines crash and grind throughout the day. Some newer locations experiment with designated quiet zones or softer materials, but most franchises stick to the tried-and-true formula. Comfort costs money, and every dollar spent on sound-dampening materials is a dollar not going toward cheaper menu prices. The noise isn't a bug in the system, it's a feature that keeps people moving. 14 fast food workers aren't trained chefs perfecting their craft over decades. They're mostly teenagers earning minimum wage, who learnt the job in a few shifts. The same meal looks different each visit. Complaint makes perfect sense when you realize Sarah from Tuesday's shift assembles burgers completely differently than Mike from Friday night. Sarah might be meticulous, placing each pickle with care. Mike's rushing through the dinner crowd, slapping ingredients together like he's building a sandwich at home. Then there's the ingredient shipment factor. Monday's lettuce might be crisp and fresh, but by Thursday it's wilting under heat lamps. The tomatoes delivered this week could be perfectly ripe, while next week's batch arrives overripe and mushy. Makes sense, right? Fast food chains rely on mass suppliers, and produce quality varies wildly depending on growing conditions, transportation and storage. Weekday versus weekend shifts create another layer of inconsistency. During busy weekend rushes, kitchen staff prioritize speed over presentation. That Instagram-worthy burger photo on the menu. It was crafted by food stylists using tweezers and perfect lighting. Your actual burger gets assembled in under 30 seconds by someone juggling 6 different orders while the drive-through line wraps around the building. And here's the thing nobody talks about. Busy kitchens equal sloppy assembly. When orders are flying in every few seconds, workers develop shortcuts. Maybe they skip the sauce distribution step, or they grab ingredients from whatever container is closest instead of the freshest batch. The result, your Big Mac might be sauce-heavy perfection on one visit, and a dry disappointment the next. 15. Menu boards change faster than your phone's operating system these days. Walk into any fast food chain, and you'll spot new items that weren't there last week, while your go-to comfort meal has mysteriously vanished. Limited time offers pop up like whack-a-mole games, confusing customers who just want their usual order without playing detective. Digital menu boards make constant changes effortless for corporate headquarters, but nightmarish for everyone else. Staff members arrive for their shifts only to discover 3 new sandwiches they've never heard of. Meanwhile, customers stand frozen at the counter, squinting at unfamiliar combinations while the line builds behind them. The breakfast burrito you loved, gone. That spicy chicken sandwich everyone talked about, discontinued after 6 weeks. Seasonal rotations create their own chaos. Summer brings limited fish options that disappear by Labor Day. Fall launches pumpkin-flavored everything, then yanks it all away before Thanksgiving. Winter comfort foods stick around just long enough for people to get attached, then vanish with the first warm day. It's like dating someone who changes their personality every month. But here's the kicker. Staff training can't keep pace with menu evolution. New employees learn the basics, then get blindsided by weekly additions. Customers ask about ingredients or modifications, only to meet blank stares from workers who started yesterday. Even worse, some locations launch new items days after others, creating inconsistency across the same chain. Your favorite Tuesday meal might not exist at the location near your office, but it's available across town. Makes perfect sense, right? 16. Fast food kids' meals promise toys, but half the time you're walking out empty-handed. Your kid orders the Happy Meal specifically for that plastic treasure, and the cashier hits you with "We're out of toys today." The disappointment on a 6-year-old's face? Priceless. Well, actually, it costs you about $4 extra, because now you're buying a regular meal plus a toy from the gas station next door. Stock runs out faster than you'd think. Popular toys disappear within days of a promotion launch. Disney tie-ins? Gone by Tuesday. Pokemon cards? Vanished before lunch rush. The thing is, corporate sends limited quantities to each location, and busy stores burn through inventory like wildfire. Then there's the shipping delays that nobody talks about. Your local McDonald's might be waiting 3 weeks for the next batch of Spider-Man figures, while kids keep asking for them daily. Different regions get different prizes, which creates its own chaos. Kids see commercials for toys that aren't even available in their area yet. Some locations get the good stuff, interactive gadgets, collectible cards. Others get generic coloring books or tiny plastic cars that break before you reach the parking lot. The age-appropriate thing is hit or miss too. They'll hand a choking hazard to a toddler or give a teenager something designed for preschoolers. And here's the kicker, even when toys are available, the value feels off. You're paying premium prices for a meal that includes a 50-cent piece of plastic. Parents end up questioning whether that nugget combo was worth it when the toy is smaller than a Happy Meal box itself. 17. Fast food chains love throwing around big numbers on their menus. A double quarter pounder with cheese packs 740 calories before you even think about fries. Add a large order of McDonald's fries. That's another 320 calories. Your large Coca-Cola contributes 290 more calories of pure sugar. Do the math, and you're staring down 1,350 calories in one sitting. That's more than half the daily calories most adults need. But here's the thing. Fast food stays fast because everything gets dunked in oil or loaded with fat. Frying is quick. Grilling takes time. Those crispy chicken sandwiches everyone craves. They're basically chicken soaked in batter, then swimming in 350-degree oil for minutes. The result tastes amazing, but a single fried chicken sandwich can hit 500 calories easy. Even the lighter options pack surprises. A typical fast food salad sounds healthy until you realize the dressing packet contains 200 calories of oil and sugar. The crispy chicken on top, another 300 calories. Those innocent-looking croutons add 50 more. Suddenly your healthy lunch weighs in at 550 calories, almost as much as a burger. Then there's portion creep. What used to be a large fry in the 1980s is now a medium. Today's large fries contain enough potatoes to feed 2 people from previous decades. The oil absorption alone in a large fry order can represent 400 milligrams of sodium and 17 grams of fat. Fast food companies discovered that bigger portions mean bigger profits, even when customers complain about the calorie bomb they just ordered. 18. Fast food chains love plastering photos of colorful salads and grilled chicken wraps all over their marketing materials. But walk into most locations and you'll find maybe 2 wilted salad options buried at the bottom of the menu board. The healthy section, if it exists at all, usually gets about as much real estate as the fine print on a car lease. Here's the thing about fresh produce in fast food. It's expensive, really expensive. A head of lettuce costs way more than a frozen beef patty and spoils in days instead of months. When your entire business model revolves around keeping prices low and profits high, those organic tomatoes and free-range chicken breasts start looking pretty unappealing to corporate bean counters. Even when chains do offer salads, they're often calorie bombs in disguise. That innocent-looking chicken Caesar can pack more calories than a Big Mac once you factor in the creamy dressing, croutons and cheese. The grilled chicken might be healthy, but it's swimming in enough ranch dressing to choke a horse. Marketing departments know exactly what they're doing here. They plaster those vibrant green images everywhere to make health-conscious customers feel better about walking through the door. But once you're inside, the giant photos of triple bacon cheeseburgers do all the real selling. The salad pictures are just there to ease your guilt while you order the meal you actually wanted. Most locations sell maybe 5 salads for every 100 burgers they flip. The math doesn't lie about what people really want from fast food. 19. You know what's ridiculous? Fast food chains have turned coupons into a math test. Buy 1 burger, get 1 free, but only if you purchase a large drink, upgrade your fries, and solve 3 riddles while hopping on 1 foot. Well, maybe not the riddles part, but it feels that way sometimes. Mobile apps have made this worse. Download the app, create an account, verify your email, enable notifications, and sacrifice your firstborn child to unlock a 10% discount on Tuesdays. Then you discover the deal only works at participating locations, which apparently doesn't include the one you're standing in. The fine print on these promotions could fill a small novel. Not valid with any other offers. Excludes premium items. Participating locations only. Must be used between 2:17 p.m. and 2:19 p.m. on leap years. Daily deals expire faster than milk left in the sun. You see a great offer in the morning, plan your lunch around it, then arrive to find it vanished into thin air. Some chains rotate deals so quickly that even the staff can't keep up. They'll look at your phone screen like you're showing them hieroglyphics. Sir, that promotion ended 17 minutes ago. Let's not forget the classic bait and switch. The deal promises a specific item, but when you order it, suddenly there are 17 exceptions and substitutions that cost extra. Your free burger ends up costing more than if you'd just ordered normally. Why can't deals just be simple? Buy food, save money, everyone's happy. Instead, we get terms and conditions longer than most marriage contracts, and about as confusing too. 20. Fast food chains understand their target demographic perfectly. They blast music that appeals to teenagers and young adults because that's where the money is. The playlist isn't chosen by some corporate executive sitting in a boardroom. It's data-driven marketing designed to create energy and encourage quick turnover. Most managers set the volume based on what keeps the kitchen staff motivated during long shifts. When you're flipping burgers for 8 hours straight, upbeat music helps maintain pace and morale. The dining room becomes an afterthought in this equation. Store acoustics aren't designed for comfortable conversation either. Hard surfaces, minimal sound dampening, and open kitchen designs amplify everything from fryer beeps to blender noise. Then there's the psychological aspect. Loud music subconsciously encourages faster eating and quicker table turnover. Restaurants discovered this trick decades ago. The louder the environment, the less likely customers are to linger over their meals. It's brilliant business strategy disguised as ambience. The speakers themselves are often positioned for maximum kitchen coverage, not dining room comfort. Tables near the counter get blasted with sound intended for employees 20 feet away. Some locations use the same sound system for drive-through announcements, adding another layer of audio chaos. Complaining to staff rarely helps because they're not the decision makers. Corporate policies dictate volume levels, and individual stores have limited control. The irony, many employees wear earbuds during breaks to escape the very music they're forced to work under all day. 21. Deep frying isn't just the preferred cooking method at fast food chains, it's practically the only method. Your burger patty hits a grill that's been soaked in grease from hundreds of previous patties. The bun gets a quick brush with butter or oil before it even touches your sandwich. Those golden fries, they've been swimming in oil that might not get changed as often as you'd hope. Here's the thing about oil management at busy locations. Corporate guidelines say change it regularly, but reality kicks in during rush hours. When you're flipping hundreds of burgers and dropping countless fry baskets, changing oil becomes a when we have time task. Old oil gets darker, greasier, and leaves more residue on everything it touches. That's why your burger wrapper often looks like it survived an oil spill. But wait, there's more grease coming your way. The grill itself accumulates layers of fat throughout the day. Each patty pressed down releases juices that don't just disappear, they become part of the cooking surface for the next order. Staff might scrape the worst bits off, but that underlying grease layer stays put until closing time deep cleaning. Then there's the packaging problem. Paper wrappers and cardboard containers aren't designed to contain restaurant-level grease. They absorb what they can and pass the rest along to your hands, your car seat, or wherever you're trying to eat. Those telltale grease stains on takeout bags aren't accidents. They're basically guaranteed when everything gets cooked in or around oil. The greasiness isn't a bug in the system, it's a feature of fast food's need for speed and flavor. 22. Picture this, it's 12:30 p.m. on a Tuesday, and you walk into your local fast food joint ready to grab lunch. But wait, every single table is occupied. Business people checking emails, construction workers on break, teenagers skipping class, and families with screaming toddlers all competing for the same cramped space. The lunch rush hits fast food restaurants like a tsunami. Between 11:30 a.m. and 1:30 p.m., most locations see their highest traffic of the entire day. Everyone wants to eat at exactly the same time, which creates a perfect storm of overcrowding. The problem gets worse because these restaurants weren't designed for leisurely dining, they're built for quick turnover. Then there's the cleaning issue. When one family finally leaves, their table is covered in ketchup smears, crumbs, and sticky soda rings. The staff member assigned to cleaning tables is probably also taking orders, making fries, or dealing with the drive-thru. So that dirty table sits there for 10 more minutes, while you stand around holding your tray like an idiot. Mall locations are absolute nightmares during lunch hours. Limited seating gets invaded by shoppers who treat the food court like their personal office space. Some people camp out for hours with just a small coffee, completely oblivious to the line of hungry customers glaring at them. School zones make it even worse. When nearby schools dismiss students, the entire restaurant transforms into chaos central. Groups of teenagers take over entire sections, splitting one meal between 5 people and staying until closing time. Large groups also hog the bigger booths meant for families, leaving parents with small children nowhere to sit comfortably. 23. Fast food workers have become the unofficial gatekeepers of America's most precious condiment. They're trained to hand out exactly 2 packets per item, like they're rationing medicine during wartime. Ask for more? You might get a look that suggests you've just requested the crown jewels. The math is brutal when you think about it. A large order of fries gets 2 tiny packets of ketchup that contain roughly 1 tablespoon total. That's supposed to cover about 4 ounces of fried potato. Meanwhile, your average home refrigerator probably has a 32-ounce bottle of Heinz that cost $3. Those little packets, they're costing chains about 8 cents each when you factor in bulk purchasing and logistics. Some locations have turned packet distribution into an art form. Staff will count them out like poker chips, sliding exactly the allowed number across the counter. Others have removed self-serve kiosks entirely because customers were apparently taking too many. Well, who could have predicted that people might want more than a thimble of ketchup for their meal? Then there's the psychological warfare of having to ask for more. You're standing there knowing you need at least 6 packets, but you're made to feel greedy for requesting them. The teenager behind the counter has been instructed that each additional packet cuts into profit margins. It's a standoff over tomato-based condiments. and somehow the customer always loses. The irony? Most people would happily pay 50 cents extra just to get enough ketchup without the awkward negotiation. 24. Fast food chains generate an astronomical amount of plastic waste every single day. Walk into any McDonald's or Burger King and count the disposable items in just one meal. The burger wrapper, fry container, drink cup, lid, straw, sauce packets, napkin dispenser, and that little plastic toy in the kids' meal. Multiply that by millions of customers worldwide, and you're looking at a trash mountain that would make environmentalists weep. But here's the kicker. Most chains talk a big game about going green while still wrapping everything in single-use packaging. They'll switch from plastic straws to paper ones that dissolve in your drink within 5 minutes, then pat themselves on the back for saving the planet. Meanwhile, everything else remains wrapped in enough plastic to mummify a pharaoh. The irony is almost comical. Then there's the recycling situation, or lack thereof. Most fast food restaurants have those feel-good recycling bins that make you think you're doing something noble by sorting your trash. Plot twist, a lot of that recycled waste ends up in the same dumpster as regular garbage, because the sorting systems can't handle greasy containers and mixed materials. The recycling symbol on your cup might as well be decorative. Some chains have experimented with biodegradable packaging, but it costs more and breaks down too quickly for practical use. When your burger wrapper disintegrates before you finish eating, customers aren't exactly thrilled. The challenge becomes balancing environmental responsibility with the reality that people want their food to stay wrapped until they're ready to eat it. Corporate sustainability reports love to highlight these efforts while conveniently glossing over the billions of plastic items still flooding landfills daily. 25. Fast food restaurants deal with thousands of customers using their restrooms daily. Think about the math. A busy McDonald's might serve 2,000 people per day. If even half of those customers use the bathroom, that's 1,000 visits to facilities designed for maybe 50 people max. The turnover rate is insane, but here's where it gets messy. Most fast food places run on skeleton crews, especially during off-peak hours. You've got 3 employees total, 1 on register, 1 in the kitchen, and maybe a manager juggling everything else. Who has time to check if the soap dispenser is empty, or if someone missed the toilet? The restroom gets checked when someone complains, not on a schedule. Then there's the understaffing issue that plagues the entire industry. High turnover means new employees who haven't learned the cleaning routines yet. Some places have cleaning checklists, but when you're slammed with orders and the drive-thru is backed up, scrubbing toilets falls to the bottom of the priority list. Makes sense, right? The weird part is how dirty bathrooms consistently rank as the top complaint in customer surveys across major chains. People will tolerate cold fries or slow service, but a bathroom with no soap or paper towels, that's where they draw the line. Some locations have started hiring dedicated cleaning staff just for restrooms, but that's expensive. Most franchisees would rather deal with the occasional angry customer than pay another salary. The result? You're rolling the dice every time you need to wash your hands. 26. Fast food restaurants during dinner rush are like airports during holiday travel. Everyone shows up at exactly the same time, expects instant service and acts surprised when there's a crowd. The math is simple. Most people get off work between 5 and 7 p.m., skip cooking, and head straight to the nearest drive-thru. What makes this worse? Delivery drivers. They're not just competing with walk-in customers anymore. DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Grubhub drivers flood these locations during peak hours, creating a perfect storm of chaos. The kitchen staff has to juggle counter orders, drive-through lines, and multiple delivery apps all at once. Makes sense, right? Then there's the staffing reality. Most fast food places run skeleton crews during evening shifts to save on labor costs. You might see 3 people trying to handle what should be a 6-person job. One person takes orders, another works the fryer, and the third assembles everything while running between stations like they're training for the Olympics. The lobby design doesn't help either. These places were built for quick turnover, not lingering dinner crowds. Limited seating means families end up standing around waiting for tables, while singles grab counter space meant for condiments. And the weird part is, restaurant chains know exactly when rush hour hits. They have data showing peak times down to the minute, yet somehow they're always caught off guard when 200 people show up wanting dinner at dinner time. The solution isn't rocket science, but labor costs usually win over customer convenience. 27. Drive-through lines during peak hours turn into miniature traffic jams that would make city planners weep. Rush hour hits and suddenly every car in a 5-mile radius decides they need burgers right now. The worst part? That one customer ahead of you ordering what sounds like food for an entire football team while you're just trying to grab a quick coffee. Weather throws another wrench into the mix. Rain means everyone's too lazy to walk inside, so they idle in their cars, creating a snake of frustrated drivers. Snow makes it worse. Half the cars can barely make the turn around the building, and the other half are sliding into each other trying to reach the order board. Then there's the menu item factor that nobody talks about. Some foods cook fast, others don't. Order a fish sandwich during lunch rush. You're waiting while they drop fresh fillets in oil. Want extra crispy chicken? Add 3 more minutes to everyone's wait time. The drive-through works great for pre-made burgers, but falls apart when someone wants something special. Here's a fun fact that might make you feel better about your wait. Taco Bell clocks in at 4.3 minutes average for drive-through service, making them the speed champions. McDonald's, they're closer to 6 minutes. KFC can stretch past 8 minutes on busy days, so when you're drumming your fingers on the steering wheel, remember that somewhere else, someone's been waiting even longer for their bucket of chicken. At least you're not alone in this slow-motion marathon. 28. The self-checkout kiosk stands there like a monolith from the future, promising faster service but delivering confusion instead. These touchscreen towers are popping up everywhere, especially in busy urban locations where labor costs keep climbing. But here's the thing, they're not exactly user-friendly for everyone. Your grandmother walks up to order her usual coffee and egg sandwich, only to find herself staring at a screen that might as well be written in hieroglyphics. The buttons are small, the menu categories are buried 3 levels deep, and there's no friendly face to ask for help. Meanwhile, a line of impatient customers builds behind her while she accidentally orders 5 apple pies instead of 1. Then there's the payment nightmare. Half these machines reject perfectly good credit cards for mysterious reasons. Cash? Forget about it. Most kiosks are card only, leaving anyone without plastic out of luck. Some locations have one lonely cashier for an entire restaurant full of digital ordering stations, creating a bottleneck that defeats the whole purpose. The worst part? When something goes wrong, you're stuck. The screen freezes mid-order, your payment gets charged twice, or the machine simply decides to take a coffee break. Staff members are often too busy to troubleshoot, leaving you wondering if your order actually went through. And the weird part is, these machines are supposed to make things faster, but they often create more delays than the old-fashioned human interaction ever did. Technology isn't always progress when it leaves half your customers scratching their heads. 29. Fast food chains hire teenagers for a reason. They work for minimum wage and don't complain much about the chaos. But here's the thing, nobody talks about. Most of these kids literally started yesterday. High turnover in fast food isn't just bad, it's astronomical. Some locations lose their entire staff every 3 months. That means the person taking your order might be on their very first shift, figuring out which button is no pickles while you tap your fingers impatiently. Training programs? Well, they exist on paper. In reality, new employees get maybe 2 hours of shadowing before they're thrown into the lunch rush. Managers are too busy putting out fires to properly teach anyone. The result is predictable chaos. Your medium fries becomes large because someone hit the wrong button. Your burger gets assembled upside down because nobody showed them the right way. Then there's the complexity problem. Modern fast food menus aren't simple anymore. There are dozens of customization options, seasonal items and regional specialties. A new employee has to memorize which sauces cost extra, which substitutions are allowed, and how to navigate computer systems that crash twice a day. Meanwhile, you're standing there wondering why it takes 5 minutes to order a cheeseburger. The worst part, these undertrained employees know they're messing up. They see your frustrated face when they ask, was that with or without cheese, for the 3rd time. But they're doing their best with virtually no preparation. Next time you encounter confused staff, remember they probably learned everything they know about your order from a 2-minute conversation with someone who quit last week. 30. Walk into most fast food places with a food allergy, and you'll quickly realize the staff looks at you like you just asked them to perform brain surgery. The truth is, many employees genuinely don't know what's in the food they're serving. Training on allergens, that's often a 5-minute conversation during their first shift, if they're lucky. Here's where it gets scary. Cross-contamination happens constantly in these kitchens. The same spatula that flipped your burger just touched a bun with sesame seeds. Those fries you thought were safe. They might share oil with breaded chicken that contains wheat. Some chains still cook their fries in oil that contains beef flavoring, which vegetarians discover the hard way. Then there's the information problem. Allergen guides exist, but but they're usually buried on websites or printed in tiny font on posters near the bathroom. Staff members often point you to a generic corporate number instead of helping directly. Makes sense, right? They don't want to accidentally poison someone, but they also can't give you the answers you need. The weird part is how inconsistent everything becomes when you mention allergies. Suddenly the kitchen that normally moves at lightning speed slows to a crawl. Workers start second-guessing every ingredient. Some locations will bend over backwards to accommodate you, while others basically shrug and suggest you eat somewhere else. Digital ordering systems don't always capture allergy notes either, leaving you to explain everything again at pickup. For people with serious allergies, fast food becomes a dangerous gamble rather than a quick meal. 31. Walk into most fast food chains as a vegetarian, and you're basically playing Russian roulette with protein. The salad? Yeah, it comes with bacon bits. The veggie wrap? Surprise, it's got ham. That pizza slice looks promising until you realize cheese is literally the only topping, and even that feels like they were being generous. McDonald's rolled out the McPlant burger with great fanfare, then quietly pulled it from most locations faster than you could say Impossible Meat. Burger King's Impossible Whopper sounds like salvation until you discover it's cooked on the same grill as beef patties. Cross-contamination much? For many vegetarians, that defeats the entire purpose. Then there's the geographic lottery. Drive through a Taco Bell in Portland, and you might find black bean options galore. Hit the same chain in rural Mississippi? Good luck finding anything without ground beef or chicken. Corporate menus don't always translate to local availability, especially when managers assume there's no demand. The real kicker is how chains treat vegetarian requests. Ask to swap the meat for extra veggies, and you'll either get blank stares or a lecture about how the system doesn't work that way. Some locations will remove the chicken from your sandwich, but still charge you full price for what's essentially bread and lettuce. Staff training on plant-based options remains practically non-existent. Most employees can't tell you which items contain meat products or whether the fries are cooked in animal fat. Your dietary choices become a guessing game where the stakes are your principles and potentially your stomach. 32. Ever wonder why your Big Mac looks like it got sat on by a linebacker? Those perfectly fluffy burger photos on the menu boards are basically food fiction. Real fast food kitchens aren't photography studios with professional lighting and tweezers to position every sesame seed. The truth is, your burger gets assembled by someone making $12 an hour during the dinner rush. They've got 30 seconds to slap meat, cheese, lettuce, and sauce together before the next order comes down the line. Precision isn't exactly the priority when you're cranking out 200 burgers in an hour. The buns get squished in the warming trays, the patties slide around in their own grease, and gravity does the rest. But here's the kicker, those machine-pressed patties are designed to be thin and stackable, not pretty. The whole assembly line system prioritizes speed over aesthetics. Your burger starts flat, gets wrapped tight in paper, then sits in a bag while the fries finish cooking. By the time it reaches your hands, that poor sandwich has been through more compression than a wrestler's spine. McDonald's and Burger King use hydraulic presses that literally squash the meat into uniform discs. It's efficient, sure, but it creates patties that look like they've been steamrolled. Add in the fact that most locations pre-stack burgers during busy periods, and you've got a recipe for pancake flat disappointment. The drive-through bag doesn't help either. Everything gets jumbled together like laundry in a dryer, turning your meal into an abstract art project. 33. Fast food marketing departments hire actual food stylists to create those glossy menu photos. These professionals spend hours arranging a single burger, using tweezers to position lettuce leaves and applying shine to tomatoes with glycerin. They might take 200 shots to get the perfect angle. The burger patty gets painted with food coloring to look juicier. Fresh sesame seeds replace any that look wonky on the bun. Meanwhile, the teenager working the lunch rush has about 30 seconds to slap your burger together. They're not worried about whether the pickles are evenly distributed or if the cheese hangs off one side. Speed matters more than Instagram-worthy presentation. During peak hours, one worker might assemble 150 burgers in an hour. That's less than 25 seconds per sandwich, including wrapping it up. The photography also uses camera tricks that would make Hollywood jealous. Special lighting makes everything glow. The photographer shoots from below to make burgers look taller and more substantial. Sometimes they use cardboard spaces between ingredients to create that perfect layered look you see in ads. But here's the kicker, your real burger gets squished in a paper wrapper, tossed in a bag with hot fries that steam everything up, and possibly bounced around during delivery. Even if the kitchen staff had the time and training to make picture-perfect food, physics works against them. Steam condenses, sauces shift and buns compress. The photo represents the absolute best-case scenario under perfect conditions. Your Tuesday afternoon drive-through order represents reality under time pressure and profit margins. 34. Fast food breakfast ends at 10:30 a.m. sharp at most chains. That's it. Game over. The pancake griddle gets shut down, and suddenly your craving for hash browns becomes impossible to satisfy. But here's what's really happening behind those kitchen doors. Most locations prep a limited amount of breakfast items each morning. They estimate demand based on yesterday's sales and hope they got it right. Run out of sausage patties by 9 a.m. Too bad. The next delivery truck isn't coming until tomorrow. Staff aren't about to thaw frozen meat mid-shift, just because 3 customers want Egg McMuffins. Then there's the equipment switch. Those same grills cooking your breakfast sausage need to be cleaned and prepped for burger patties. The process takes time. Managers would rather start early than risk running behind schedule for the lunch rush. Makes sense, right? Supply chains play a huge role too. Breakfast items often come from different suppliers than regular menu food. Eggs, breakfast meats, and pancake batter arrive on specific delivery schedules. When they're gone, they're gone. No magic restocking happens midday. Well, there's also the staff training factor. Many employees learn either breakfast prep or regular menu prep, not both. The person working the afternoon shift might literally not know how to crack eggs properly or operate the waffle maker. And the weird part is, some locations receive their breakfast supplies only 3 times per week. Miss Monday's delivery, and Tuesday's breakfast selection looks pretty thin. 35. Those healthy wraps at fast food places, they're basically burgers in disguise. The grilled chicken wrap at McDonald's packs 520 calories. That's more than a quarter pounder. But hey, it's wrapped in a tortilla instead of a bun, so it must be good for you, right? The problem starts with those massive flour tortillas. They're not the small ones you use at home for tacos. We're talking about tortillas the size of dinner plates, and each one contains around 300 calories before anything even gets added. That's already more calories than 2 slices of bread. Then comes the filling. Sure, they might use grilled chicken instead of fried, but that chicken is usually marinated in oil and sodium. Add the creamy ranch or honey mustard sauce, and you're looking at another 150 calories of pure fat. The cheese? That's another 100 calories minimum. Let's not forget the fresh vegetables they throw in there. Iceberg lettuce and a few sad tomato pieces don't exactly scream nutritional powerhouse. Most of these wraps contain less than half a serving of actual vegetables. The real kicker: many chains don't display calorie counts prominently on their wrap selections. You have to dig through their website or ask specifically to find out that your light lunch contains more calories than a Big Mac. Some wraps even hit the 600 calorie mark when you factor in the large tortilla, double portions of sauce, and extra cheese. Makes you wonder why they even bother calling them healthy options. At least with a burger, you know what you're getting into from the start. 36. Your burger arrives wrapped in paper like a precious gift. You unwrap it with anticipation, only to find a soggy mess that feels more like a wet sponge than a sandwich. The bun has absorbed every drop of moisture from the lettuce, tomatoes, and that mystery sauce they slathered on top. Here's what's really happening behind the scenes. Steam is the silent killer of burger integrity. When that hot patty meets cold toppings and gets wrapped immediately, it creates a perfect storm of condensation. The wrapper traps all that moisture, turning your once crispy bun into mush. It's like putting a hot pizza in a sealed container. Physics doesn't care about your lunch plans. Then there's the holding time factor. Your burger might sit in a warming drawer for 10 minutes before you even order it. Those heat lamps, they're designed to keep food warm, but they also create more steam. Every minute your burger waits is another minute of moisture building up inside that wrapper. And let's talk about those fries in the same bag. They're releasing steam too, creating a humid environment that makes everything soggy. It's like a tiny sauna for your food. The worst part: fast food chains know this happens, but speed trumps texture every time. Some locations try to combat this by using special wrapper paper or adding ventilation holes, but most places stick with the cheapest option. Your soggy burger isn't a mistake. It's an inevitable result of prioritizing speed and cost over food quality. That's just how the system works. 37. Fast food restaurants love to market themselves as family-friendly destinations, but when you actually show up with your family, good luck finding anywhere to sit. Most locations have maybe 15 tables total, and half of them are those tiny two-person spots that can barely fit a happy meal and a drink. The booth situation is even worse. There might be 4 actual booths in the entire place, and they're always occupied by teenagers who bought one small fries 3 hours ago and decided to set up camp for the evening. Meanwhile, you're standing there with 3 kids, 2 strollers and a diaper bag, scanning the room like you're hunting for parking at the mall during Christmas. Then there's the high chair situation. Most places have exactly 2 high chairs for the entire restaurant. 2. For a business that literally puts toys in kids' meals and has a playground out back. The math doesn't add up. You'll spend 10 minutes searching for one that isn't broken, covered in mysterious sticky substances, or missing crucial safety straps. And let's not forget birthday parties. One 8-year-old celebration can monopolize half the seating area for 2 hours. The parents spread out like they're claiming territory, balloons tied to every available chair. Regular families get squeezed into whatever cramped corner remains available. The weird part is these same restaurants spend millions on advertising, showing happy families gathered around spacious tables. Reality check. You'll probably end up splitting your group across 3 different tables, shouting conversations across the dining room, while your toddler tries to escape from a wobbly high chair that's seen better decades. 38. Walk into most fast food places, and you'll notice something. The staff barely makes eye contact. No hello or welcome in. Just a tired stare, and maybe a grunt that sounds like next. Well, there's actually a reason behind this social ice age, and it's not because they hate customers personally. Most fast food workers earn minimum wage, or close to it. We're talking about people making $7.25 to $12 an hour, depending on the state. That's barely enough to cover rent, let alone inspire genuine enthusiasm for greeting the 100th customer of the day. When you're stressed about paying bills and working multiple jobs just to survive, smiling at strangers isn't exactly your top priority. Then there's the pressure. Managers constantly push for speed over service. Get orders out fast, keep the line moving, hit those drive-through time targets. There's literally no time built into the system for pleasantries. A friendly chat might add 30 seconds to each order, which translates to angry managers and longer wait times. Training programs focus almost entirely on food prep and register operation. Customer service gets maybe 15 minutes of attention during orientation. Most workers learn by watching other tired employees who also never got proper training. It's a cycle that perpetuates itself. The weird part is that some locations do have friendlier staff. Usually, these are places with better management or slightly higher wages, but for most chains, especially during busy periods, workers are running on autopilot. They're not being rude on purpose, they're just trying to survive their shift without making mistakes that could cost them their job. 39. Your order disappears into thin air somewhere between the counter and the kitchen. One minute you're handing over your money, the next minute you're standing there like an invisible person while everyone else gets their food. The staff looks at you like you're making the whole thing up. Communication breaks down fast during rush hours. Orders get buried under a pile of receipts, or someone forgets to hit send on the digital screen. Some locations still use handwritten tickets that look like doctor prescriptions. Good luck reading that chicken scratch when you're flipping burgers at lightning speed. Then there's the digital chaos. Order screens freeze right when things get busy. The kitchen sees half your order, or worse, sees someone else's order with your name on it. Staff members are juggling counter orders, drive-through commands, and delivery requests all at once. Something's bound to get lost in translation. Busy kitchens become war zones where tickets fly around like confetti. Your special request for no pickles, gone. That extra sauce you paid for, vanished. The person taking your order isn't the same person making it, and they're definitely not the same person calling out names when it's ready. The worst part, nobody knows where your order went. The counter person thinks they sent it back. The kitchen swears they never got it. Meanwhile, you're watching people who ordered after you walk away with their food. Your stomach's growling, your lunch break is ending, and somewhere in that restaurant, your burger is having an identity crisis. 40. Most fast food chains make it nearly impossible to reach anyone who actually works at your local store. You've got a complaint about cold fries or a missing burger. Good luck finding a phone number that connects you to the restaurant down the street. Instead, you'll get routed to some corporate call center where a representative in another state asks for your receipt number and store location like they're solving a murder case. Here's the thing, these companies deliberately funnel customer complaints away from individual locations. Why? Because local managers are already drowning in daily operations. They're dealing with broken ice cream machines, understaffed shifts, and health inspectors. The last thing they need is 40 phone calls about soggy onion rings. But this creates a frustrating loop for customers who just want their order fixed. Then there's the disconnect between what corporate thinks happened and what actually went down. The call center agent can offer you a coupon for a free apple pie, but they can't explain why your drive-through order took 25 minutes, or why the cashier seemed irritated. They weren't there. They don't know that particular location ran out of chicken nuggets during the lunch rush. And here's where it gets weird. Some stores post fake phone numbers or ones that go straight to voicemail. Others have working phones but never answer because staff are too busy to pick up. The only real feedback option, their mobile app or website forms that disappear into digital limbo. You're basically shouting into the void, hoping someone eventually notices your 3-star review buried among thousands of others. 41. Fast food chains have a dirty little secret about their dessert game. They stock just enough pies, cookies, and ice cream treats to last through the lunch rush, then cross their fingers for the rest of the day. When a heatwave hits and everyone suddenly craves soft serve, those machines can't keep up with demand. The result? Empty freezers and disappointed customers by 3 p.m. But here's the weird part. Dessert demand is wildly unpredictable. A random Tuesday might see 0 pie sales, while Saturday evening could clear out every apple turnover in the warmer. Managers can't justify ordering massive quantities of items that might sit around for days, especially when those chocolate chip cookies have a shelf life shorter than most people's attention spans. Then there's the soft serve situation. Those machines need cleaning cycles every few hours, which means they're offline when you want your McFlurry most. Some locations run just one ice cream machine for the entire store, creating a bottleneck that would make highway traffic jealous. When it breaks down, and it will break down, there goes half the dessert menu. Delivery apps have made everything worse. Online orders for shakes and sundaes pile up alongside in-store requests, creating a perfect storm of dessert chaos. Staff find themselves explaining to frustrated parents that yes, the apple pies are sold out at 4 p.m. on a Sunday. Supply chains weren't built for the Instagram generation's spontaneous sweet tooth, leaving customers staring at empty dessert cases wondering why a billion-dollar company can't keep cookies in stock. 42. You walk up to the counter, order your meal, and wait. The cashier hands you everything except that tiny piece of paper that proves you actually bought something. Your receipt has vanished into thin air. This happens way more than it should, and there's usually a pretty simple explanation behind it. Self-service kiosks are often the biggest culprits. These machines run out of paper constantly, and nobody notices until you're standing there empty-handed. The paper rolls are small, they get jammed easily, and replacing them isn't exactly anyone's top priority during a lunch rush. Drive-through windows present their own problems. Staff members are focused on speed, not paperwork. Unless you specifically ask for your receipt, many locations just skip it entirely to keep the line moving. App orders create a whole different mess. Your receipt gets emailed to you automatically, but good luck finding it in your inbox later. Some people never even realize they're supposed to get a digital receipt. Others want the physical paper version but don't know how to ask for it. Then there's the classic case of receipts getting lost in your takeout bag. They slip between the burger wrapper and the fries container, never to be seen again. This might seem like a minor annoyance until you need to return something or check what you actually ordered. Fast food workers aren't trying to hide your receipt on purpose. They're just dealing with broken machines, rushed orders, and systems that weren't designed with customer convenience in mind. The receipt problem is really a technology problem in disguise. 43. Walk into most fast food restaurants during winter, and you'll need a jacket. Not because it's cold outside, because it's freezing inside. The dining room feels like an Arctic tundra, while the kitchen staff sweats behind the counter. This temperature mismatch isn't accidental. Air conditioning systems get cranked up to combat the intense heat from fryers, grills, and ovens running non-stop. Makes sense for workers standing over 400-degree equipment all day, but customers sitting still in plastic chairs, they're shivering into their burgers. The thermostat priorities always favor the people making the food, not eating it. Then there's the building design itself. Many fast food joints have drafty entrances, thin windows, and minimal insulation. Every time someone opens the door, a blast of outside air rushes in. During busy lunch hours, those doors never stop swinging. The heating system can't keep up with the constant air exchange. Some managers deliberately keep it cold to encourage faster turnover. Customers don't linger when they're uncomfortable. Tables clear quicker, more people cycle through, sales increase. It's a calculated business decision disguised as climate control. Staff working 8-hour shifts in hot kitchens obviously want relief. But patrons spending 20 minutes eating shouldn't need winter coats indoors. The weird part is how few customers actually complain directly to management. They just eat faster and leave, exactly as intended. Restaurant comfort isn't designed around the dining experience. It's optimized for operational efficiency and employee retention. Your comfort comes last. 44. You walk into a fast food restaurant, pull out your phone, and prepare for the modern dining experience. Except there's no Wi-Fi, or worse, there's Wi-Fi that doesn't work. The network shows up on your phone, teasing you with promises of connectivity, then refuses to let you actually connect to anything useful. Here's the thing about fast food Wi-Fi, it's often an afterthought. Many chains rolled out internet access years ago when it seemed like a good customer perk. But maintaining decent Wi-Fi costs money, real money. And when corporate decides where to cut costs, guess what gets the axe first? Some stores deliberately keep their Wi-Fi slow or unreliable. Why? They don't want people camping out for hours nursing a single coffee. Makes sense, right? If the internet crawls along at dial-up speeds, customers eat and leave. Table turnover stays high, revenue stays steady. But here's where it gets frustrating for regular customers. You're trying to check your bank balance after that combo meal splurge. Your kid wants to watch cartoons while eating nuggets. Maybe you're waiting for an important work email. Instead, you're stuck staring at loading screens that never load. The Wi-Fi passwords are usually simple, often just the restaurant name or password 123. But even when you connect, good luck streaming anything. Most chains block video sites entirely. They'll let you check email, maybe browse social media, but Netflix, forget about it. Then there's the outlet situation. You finally get connected to their sketchy Wi-Fi, only to discover your phone's dying and there's nowhere to plug in. Some newer locations have charging stations, but many older stores treat electrical outlets like state secrets. Your phone dies, the Wi-Fi was useless anyway, and you're left eating in digital silence. 45. Fast food restrooms with keypad codes have become the new normal, but nobody warned us how impossibly frustrating they'd be. You walk up to the door, desperately needing to use the facilities, only to find a digital lock demanding a 4-digit combination. Simple enough, right? Wrong. The staff member at the counter rattles off 7428, while simultaneously taking 3 other orders, cleaning the soda machine, and dealing with a delivery driver. By the time you reach the door, was it 7428 or 7248? The numbers blur together in your panicked brain. You try the first combination, nothing. The second attempt, still locked. Now you're doing the walk of shame back to the counter, interrupting the same overwhelmed employee who's clearly annoyed at having to repeat the code. But here's where it gets really ridiculous. Some locations change these codes daily, supposedly for security reasons. Security from what exactly? Are bathroom bandits really such a widespread problem that we need Fort Knox-level protection for toilet access? The poor teenagers working the register can barely remember the current Wi-Fi password, let alone a rotating restroom code that changes every 24 hours. Parents juggling toddlers face an extra layer of hell. Picture trying to punch in a 4-digit code while your 3-year-old is doing the potty dance and your baby is screaming in your arms. Meanwhile, elderly customers struggle with the tiny buttons on keypads that seem designed for people with microscopic fingers. The whole system assumes everyone has perfect memory, steady hands, and infinite patience. Spoiler alert, most of us don't. 46. Fast food restaurants deal with insects because of how they operate. Open doors swing constantly as customers rush in and out during peak hours. Every time someone enters, flies and other bugs slip inside unnoticed. The smell of cooking food acts like a magnet for these pests. French fries, burgers, and sugary drinks create an irresistible scent trail that draws insects from outside. Food waste makes the problem worse. Trash bins overflow during busy periods, and staff can't empty them fast enough. Crumbs fall under tables and get missed during quick cleanups between rushes. Spilled soda creates sticky spots on floors that attract ants and flies. Kids drop fries and nuggets, leaving a feast for unwanted visitors. Then there's the location factor. Many fast food places sit near dumpsters, parking lots, or areas with poor drainage. These spots naturally harbor more insects. Summer heat makes bugs more active, and they seek cool indoor spaces. Air conditioning units pull in outside air, sometimes bringing flying insects with it. Staff cleaning schedules don't always match pest prevention needs. Employees focus on visible messes, but miss hidden food particles. Grease buildup around cooking areas attracts different types of bugs. Even clean restaurants struggle when they're located in naturally buggy environments. Air curtains at entrances could help, but many stores don't use them or keep them turned off to save electricity. The constant battle between keeping doors open for business and keeping bugs out rarely gets won by the restaurant. Makes sense why some locations feel like outdoor dining, right? 47. Drive-through speakers are like that friend who mumbles everything important. You pull up, ready to order, and suddenly you're playing a guessing game with crackling audio that sounds like it's coming from the bottom of a well. The weather doesn't help either. Rain turns every word into mush, and wind makes it impossible to tell if they're asking about your drink size or your life story. Most of these speaker systems are older than the teenagers working inside. They've been battered by years of exhaust fumes, temperature changes, and the occasional angry customer who gets a little too close to the microphone. The result? Audio quality that would make a 1990s cell phone sound crystal clear. Then there's the car factor. Your engine is running, the air conditioning is blasting, and maybe you've got music playing. All of that noise competes with an already weak speaker system. The poor employee on the other end is dealing with the same problem in reverse. They can barely hear you over the kitchen noise, beeping timers, and conversations happening behind them. Some locations have tried to upgrade their systems, but it's expensive and not exactly a priority when you're focused on speed. The average drive-through is supposed to get you through in under 5 minutes, so there's pressure to keep things moving even when nobody can understand what anyone else is saying. The worst part? Staff members often develop their own shorthand for dealing with bad audio, which makes communication even more confusing for customers who just want to order a burger without playing 20 questions. 48. Most fast food chains today still run on ancient payment systems that make your smartphone feel like alien technology. Walk into any random location, and you'll find card readers that look like they survived Y2K by pure luck. The screens are dim, the buttons stick, and half the time they can't even process a basic chip card without 3 attempts. Then there's the mobile payment situation. You pull out your phone, ready to tap and pay like a normal human being in 2024, only to get blank stares from teenage cashiers who've never seen Apple Pay work on their registers. Some locations have the hardware, but it's been temporarily disabled for 6 months running. Others have contactless payment symbols that are purely decorative. The inconsistency gets ridiculous fast. One McDonald's downtown accepts everything including cryptocurrency apps, while the location 5 miles away still asks if you want to pay with exact change. Franchise owners upgrade their systems whenever they feel like it, which apparently isn't very often. Staff training makes things worse. New employees learn how to make fries, but nobody teaches them how to troubleshoot payment tech. When your phone doesn't work, they just shrug and point to the cash register, like it's 1995 all over again. The irony hits hard when these same chains spend millions advertising their modern mobile apps, then can't accept payment through those same apps at half their locations. Corporate rollouts move slower than drive-through lines during lunch rush. By the time some stores get updated payment systems, the technology is already outdated again. 49. Fast food restaurants post their hours online and on their doors, bold black letters telling you they close at 11 p.m. But sometimes you show up at 10:30 p.m. to find the doors locked and employees cleaning inside. The lights are on, but nobody's coming to let you in. Staff shortages hit fast food harder than most industries. When 3 people call in sick on the same night, managers have to make tough choices. Do they stay open with just 2 workers and risk terrible service, or close early and deal with angry customers tomorrow? Most choose the early closure. It's safer for the skeleton crew still working. Then there's the surprise maintenance issue. A broken fryer or malfunctioning register can shut down operations without warning. Corporate doesn't always approve overtime to fix equipment immediately, so the open sign goes dark hours before scheduled closing time. Weather throws another wrench into operating hours. Snow, ice, or severe storms can force early closures for safety reasons. But the automated phone system still plays the normal hours message. Your GPS still shows them as open. Franchise locations make this problem worse. Each owner sets their own policies about early closures. One McDonald's might stay open no matter what, while another closes at the first sign of trouble. There's no central system updating real-time hours across all locations. Apps like Google Maps rely on reported hours, not actual availability. The result? You're standing in an empty parking lot wondering why you didn't just cook dinner at home. 50. Fast food breakfast has become a cruel tease. You wake up craving hash browns at 11 a.m., roll up to your favorite chain, and boom, lunch menu only. The griddles have been scrubbed clean, the egg cookers are shut down, and your dreams of a breakfast sandwich are officially dead. Most chains flip their menus harder than a gymnast at 10:30 a.m. sharp. McDonald's used to offer all-day breakfast, but that vanished faster than your motivation on a Monday morning. Why? Well, kitchen space is limited, and those egg griddles need to make room for burger patties during the lunch rush. Staff literally clean the breakfast equipment early to prep for the dinner crowd. But here's the kicker. Some locations shut down breakfast even earlier. Weekend shifts might end breakfast at 10 a.m. because they're understaffed or running behind schedule. Meanwhile, you're standing there at 10:45 a.m., staring at photos of pancakes on the menu board that you absolutely cannot order. The weird part is how arbitrary these cutoff times feel. Taco Bell serves the same ingredients all day, but most burger joints act like cooking an egg after 10:30 a.m. would cause the restaurant to collapse. Staff will shrug and point to the lunch menu like it's written in stone. Then there's the international confusion. Some countries serve breakfast items all day, but American franchises stick to their rigid schedules. Your stomach doesn't care what time it is, but apparently the corporate rulebook does. Makes sense, right? 51. Fast food coffee has a reputation problem, and it's not hard to figure out why. Walk into most chain restaurants after 2 p.m. and order a cup, and you're basically asking for liquid disappointment. The coffee tastes like it's been sitting on a burner since the Carter administration. Well, maybe not that long, but close enough. Here's what's really happening behind the scenes. Most fast food places brew massive batches of coffee early in the morning to handle the breakfast rush. Makes sense, right? But then that same pot sits on a heat plate for hours and hours. The longer coffee sits on heat, the more bitter compounds develop. It's basically slow cooking your morning fuel into something that tastes like burnt rubber. Then there's the bean situation. Fast food chains aren't exactly shopping at premium roasters. They're buying the cheapest beans they can find to keep costs down. Lower quality beans combined with industrial brewing equipment equals a pretty rough taste experience from the start. The cleaning schedule doesn't help either. Coffee machines need regular deep cleaning to prevent oil buildup from old grounds. But when you're running a skeleton crew during off-peak hours, scrubbing coffee makers isn't exactly priority number one. Staff are more focused on getting burgers out the door than maintaining equipment that only sells a few cups after noon. Want decent coffee? Hit them during morning rush when everything's fresh. Or better yet, find a gas station. Their coffee turnover is usually faster than most burger joints, which means fresher pots more often. 52. Most fast food restaurants produce enough trash to fill a small dumpster every single day. Yet walk into any location, and you'll find exactly two options. Throw everything in the regular trash, or throw everything in the regular trash. That's it. No recycling bins in sight, no composting options, and definitely no sorting system that makes environmental sense. The industry generates over 100 billion pieces of packaging annually in the US alone. Those plastic cups, foam containers, and paper wrappers all head straight to landfills. Even when customers want to recycle, they can't. The infrastructure simply isn't there in most locations. Well, some cities require recycling programs, but enforcement is spotty at best. Staff members rarely receive training on waste separation. Why would they? The corporate focus stays locked on speed and efficiency, not environmental responsibility. Training someone to sort recyclables takes time, and time costs money in the fast food world. Then there's the packaging itself. Many items come wrapped in materials that can't be recycled anyway. Those shiny burger wrappers. They're often coated with substances that contaminate recycling streams. The plastic lids and straws. Sure, they're technically recyclable, but not when they're mixed with food waste and thrown into regular garbage bags. Some chains have launched pilot programs for composting or recycling in select markets. But these efforts remain limited to a handful of locations, usually in environmentally conscious cities where local regulations demand it. The average suburban location operates like it's still 1985, when nobody cared about waste streams. Makes you wonder why environmental responsibility stops at the drive-through window. 53. The promise of free Wi-Fi draws people to fast food restaurants like moths to a flame. You settle in with your laptop, ready to knock out some work while munching on fries. Then reality hits. The connection drops every 30 seconds, making it impossible to send a simple email. Most chains offer Wi-Fi as a customer perk, but they treat it like an afterthought. The bandwidth gets split between dozens of users scrolling social media, streaming videos, and trying to work. It's like trying to drink from a fire hydrant that's been turned down to a trickle. When 20 people are fighting for the same weak signal, nobody wins. Then there's the intentional throttling. Many stores block streaming sites and limit download speeds to discourage people from camping out all day. They want you to buy food and leave, not turn their dining room into a free office space. Smart business move. Maybe. Frustrating for customers. Absolutely. The worst part hits when you're in the middle of something important. Your video call freezes during a work meeting. Your online order times out right before checkout. That important document upload fails 3 times in a row. Makes sense, right? You came for a burger, not reliable internet service. Staff can't help either because tech support isn't sitting in the back room. When the system crashes, they shrug and wait for corporate to fix it remotely. Some locations have routers that haven't been updated since flip phones were popular. The signal barely reaches the back corner booths where you're sitting. 54. Fast food restaurants have a supply chain nightmare that most customers never think about. Cup shortages hit chains harder than you'd expect because they order supplies weeks in advance. When the medium cups run out, you're stuck with a small drink in a large combo deal. Pretty frustrating, right? Distribution centers ship everything from napkins to cup lids on rigid schedules. If a shipment gets delayed by even a day, stores start rationing supplies. Managers face a tough choice: give you a large cup for the medium price, or hand you a small one and deal with complaints. Most choose the path of least resistance and grab whatever size they have available. Then there's the lid problem that makes everything worse. You might get a medium cup, but only large lids fit it properly. Or worse, they hand you a small lid that barely stays on your drink. The whole system falls apart when one piece goes missing. Weather delays mess up deliveries more than people realize. A snowstorm in the Midwest can leave Florida restaurants without medium cups for 3 days. Truck drivers can't control ice storms, but customers blame the teenager behind the counter when their drink comes in the wrong container. Some franchise owners try to save money by ordering fewer supplies. They'll stock up on small cups because they're cheaper and hope customers won't notice the switch. The weird part is they often charge you the same price regardless of what size cup you actually receive. Staff members aren't trained to explain supply shortages, so they just shrug and hand you whatever's available. 55. Fast food allergies can be a nightmare. Most chains bury their allergen information deep in tiny print menus or force you to hunt through their websites. Staff behind the counter, they're usually teenagers who barely know what gluten is, let alone which sauces contain dairy or eggs. The real problem starts with cross-contamination. That same grill cooking your allergen-free burger just cooked 50 regular patties. The fryer for your gluten-free item, it's been dunking wheat-covered chicken nuggets all day. Makes sense, right? But nobody tells you this up front. Then there's the ingredient shuffle. Suppliers change recipes without warning. Your safe sauce from last month might now contain milk proteins. Some locations get different ingredients than others. So what's safe at one McDonald's could trigger reactions at another across town. Staff training is practically non-existent for allergies. Most employees can't tell you if the French fries contain beef flavoring or if the grilled chicken has dairy-based marinades. They'll guess, shrug, or worse, make promises they can't keep. And the weird part is, some chains have detailed allergen guides that employees never see. Corporate websites list allergens, but they're often outdated or buried under legal disclaimers. You'll find warnings like may contain traces of everything, which basically means they can't guarantee anything. The safest bet? Assume every item shares space with every allergen, unless proven otherwise. Your health isn't worth a quick lunch guess. 56. Fast food workers are basically sauce artists with zero training. They grab that squeeze bottle and go wild, turning your burger into a slippery mess that requires 3 napkins just to hold. The problem starts with speed requirements. Staff have maybe 30 seconds to assemble your order, and precision isn't exactly their top priority. Most sandwich assembly lines use pre-portioned sauce dispensers, but guess what? Those dispensers break constantly. When they do, workers fall back on squeeze bottles that haven't been calibrated since the Clinton administration. One squeeze might give you a tiny dollop. The next could flood your burger like a ketchup tsunami. There's literally no consistency training for this stuff. Then there's the sauce pooling issue. Your burger gets wrapped immediately after assembly, creating a perfect storm of condensation and sauce migration. That mayo you thought was evenly spread, it's now concentrated in one corner, making your first bite a creamy explosion, while the rest tastes like cardboard. The worst part is when multiple sauces get involved. Special sauce plus mayo plus ketchup equals a sandwich that's structurally unsound before you even unwrap it. The bun absorbs all that moisture, and basically disintegrates in your hands. Some chains have tried portion control pumps, but those require maintenance that never happens. Staff working the lunch rush don't have time to calibrate equipment, they're just trying to survive the next wave of orders. Your sauce situation is basically a game of roulette where the house always wins and your shirt always loses. 57. Fast food parking lots weren't designed for today's chaos. Back when these places opened, drive-through wasn't even a thing. Walk-in customers got maybe 20 spots, and that felt generous. Now, those same lots handle drive-through lines that snake around buildings, delivery drivers camping in spaces, and twice as many customers as originally planned. The math just doesn't work anymore. A typical McDonald's might have 30 parking spaces for a restaurant that serves 2,000 people daily. That's assuming everyone who walks in magically disappears after ordering. But people linger. Families with kids take forever. Students spread homework across tables for hours. Then there's the delivery driver invasion. DoorDash, Uber Eats and Grubhub vehicles occupy the closest spots while drivers wait inside for orders. They're not customers, but they're taking spaces from people who actually want to eat there. Some locations now designate delivery-only spots, which sounds helpful until you realize that just shrinks the regular parking even more. Drive-through lines make everything worse. Cars wrap around the building and block parking lot entrances. You can't even reach the spaces because someone's idling in line, blocking your path. The irony: people choose drive-through because they think it's faster, but they end up creating traffic jams that make parking impossible for everyone else. City locations suffer the most. Downtown McDonald's might have 5 parking spots total. Street parking fills up fast, and paid parking defeats the whole cheap fast food concept. You end up paying $4 to park so you can buy a $3 burger. 58. Ice machines in fast food restaurants are basically bacterial playgrounds that nobody wants to think about. Those crystal clear cubes floating in your Coke, they might be harboring more germs than the toilet seat you avoided touching 5 minutes ago. The problem isn't just gross, it's systemic. Most ice machines get cleaned about as often as people change their car's air filter, which is to say, almost never. The internal water lines, where ice forms and travels, create the perfect breeding ground for mold and bacteria, warm, moist and rarely disturbed. It's like a spa day for microorganisms. Then there's the human factor that makes everything worse. Staff members are supposed to use sanitized scoops when handling ice. But during rush periods, when orders are flying and managers are screaming about drive-through times, employees grab ice with whatever's handy. Sometimes that's their bare hands fresh from handling money or wiping down tables. The same hands that just touched the cash register now become part of your beverage experience. Machine maintenance requires shutting down equipment for hours. Restaurant owners hate losing money, so deep cleaning gets postponed until something breaks or health inspectors show up unannounced. By then the damage is done. Months of build-up coating every surface the ice touches. Water quality varies wildly between locations too. Older machines in older buildings often lack proper filtration systems. Municipal water treatment handles basic safety, but doesn't eliminate every taste or odor issue. The result? Ice that looks fine but tastes like it came from a garden hose that's been sitting in the sun. 59. Combo meals promise the full experience. Burger, fries, and a drink, all bundled together for convenience and value. At least, that's what the colorful menu boards suggest. But walk into any fast food restaurant during lunch rush, and you'll discover a frustrating reality: your combo isn't actually complete. The most common culprit: missing fries. Staff grab your burger, hand over the drink, then somehow forget the golden potato sticks that make the meal worthwhile. You're halfway to your car before realizing you paid extra for a combo but received a la carte service. And the weird part is, when you return to point out the error, they act surprised, like forgetting a third of your order is some kind of mathematical mystery. Then there's the app order disaster. Digital menus show beautiful combo images with all components visible, but the kitchen receives incomplete information. Your phone confirms you ordered everything, but the bag contains selective items. The system that's supposed to make ordering foolproof somehow develops selective amnesia between your payment and food preparation. Let's not forget the substitution scam. You ask for apple slices instead of fries in your combo, and suddenly you're charged extra. The combo price supposedly covers equivalent items, but healthy swaps trigger additional fees. Meanwhile, your original fries, the ones you specifically didn't want, still appear on your receipt as included. Staff training on combo components seems minimal. New employees learn burger assembly but miss the crucial detail that combos require multiple items. During busy periods, this knowledge gap becomes expensive for customers who assume their complete meal will actually be complete. 60. Fast food apps promise convenience, but they deliver frustration instead. You tap order now, and the screen freezes. You enter your payment info and it crashes. You finally place an order and somehow it vanishes into digital space. The technology behind these apps is surprisingly fragile. Most chains update their software every few weeks, which sounds great until you realize each update introduces new bugs. Your loyalty points disappear. Menu items show wrong prices. The GPS can't find your location even though you're sitting in the restaurant parking lot. Then there's the connectivity issue nobody talks about. These apps need constant internet connection to function, but many fast food locations have spotty Wi-Fi. Your order gets stuck in limbo between your phone and the kitchen. Staff can't see it, you can't cancel it, and your money is already gone. The worst part, customer service for app problems usually means calling a national hotline that knows nothing about your local store. They can't see your order, can't refund your money on the spot, and definitely can't make your food appear faster. Store employees often shrug when you show them your phone screen because they're not trained to fix app glitches. Some chains admit their apps crash during peak hours when servers get overloaded. Makes sense, right? Everyone orders lunch at the same time, but the system can't handle it. You end up standing at the counter trying to prove you already paid while hungry customers pile up behind you. Technology was supposed to make fast food faster, but broken apps just add another layer of chaos to an already chaotic experience. 61. Fast food chains love to tell you they're open 24/7, but try walking up to the door after sunset and you'll find it locked tighter than Fort Knox. The drive-through speaker crackles to life, but the dining room, dead as a doornail. Suddenly that promise of convenience turns into a nightmare if you're on foot, riding a bike, or just prefer to eat inside like a civilized human being. The reasoning sounds logical at first. Staff safety becomes the top priority once darkness falls, especially in urban areas where late-night incidents happen more frequently. Fewer employees work evening shifts anyway, so why keep the entire building accessible when most customers are happy to stay in their cars? Well, that logic falls apart pretty quickly when you realize not everyone has a vehicle. Then there's the delivery driver situation that complicates everything further. DoorDash and Uber Eats drivers get priority access through side entrances or special pickup windows, creating this weird hierarchy where paying customers walking up get treated like second-class citizens. Some locations even have separate pickup areas that bypass the main counter entirely, making it impossible for walk-in customers to place orders during these restricted hours. And the weird part is how this policy varies wildly between franchises in the same chain. One McDonald's might welcome walk-ins until midnight, while another 3 blocks away shuts down indoor service at 6 p.m. sharp. No consistency, no warning signs, just frustrated customers discovering the policy when they're already standing at locked glass doors, watching employees serve cars while ignoring anyone without wheels. 62. Fast food restaurants used to be playgrounds for kids. Remember those colorful tube mazes and ball pits that made every meal feel like a mini adventure? Those days are mostly gone now. Walk into most chains today, and you'll find sleek, minimalist designs with no trace of the chaotic fun that once defined family dining. The shift happened gradually over the past decade. McDonald's led the charge by removing play places from thousands of locations during their Experience of the Future remodels. Burger King followed suit, replacing jungle gyms with modern seating and digital menu boards. Even regional chains jumped on the bandwagon, trading whimsical play areas for Instagram-worthy interiors. Why the dramatic change? Real estate costs play a huge role. Play areas require massive square footage that could otherwise seat paying customers. Maintenance is another factor. Those colorful tubes needed constant cleaning and repairs. Insurance companies weren't thrilled about liability issues either. Then there's the generational shift. Today's parents are glued to smartphones while kids prefer tablets over climbing structures. But here's the thing parents discover too late. Keeping kids entertained during a meal without a play area is nearly impossible. Toddlers get restless after 5 minutes of sitting still. Families end up eating faster and leaving sooner, which defeats the purpose of creating a relaxing dining experience. Some locations still have outdoor playgrounds, but they're often poorly maintained or closed for safety reasons. The irony: fast food chains spent decades marketing themselves as family-friendly destinations, then systematically removed the very features that made families want to stay. 63. Order kiosks promise speed and accuracy, but their totals often tell a different story. You tap through your meal choices, add extras, maybe grab a dessert, then boom, the final number doesn't match what you expected. Sometimes it's higher, sometimes weirdly lower. And the weird part is, nobody seems to know why. These self-service machines aren't as smart as they look. Price updates happen at corporate headquarters, but individual kiosks might lag behind by days or even weeks. Your local store could be charging last month's prices while the menu board shows current ones. Makes sense, right? Well, not really. Then there's the coupon chaos. You scan a deal for buy one get one burgers, watch it register on screen, then see the full price show up anyway. The kiosk accepted your coupon but forgot to apply the discount. Staff have to manually override the system, assuming they notice the error. Most don't until you point it out. Let's not forget tax complications. These machines calculate taxes based on your zip code, but what happens when you're near city limits? Some kiosks default to the highest local tax rate to avoid undercharging. Others pick randomly. City taxes, county taxes, special district fees, all programmed by someone who probably never visited your specific location. The real kicker: staff often override totals at the register without explanation. Your kiosk says $12.47, but the cashier charges $13.20. When you ask about the difference, they shrug and blame the system. Double-checking before you pay isn't just smart, it's essential survival in the fast food jungle. 64. Heat lamps are supposed to solve this problem, but they're basically fancy food warmers that create their own weird microclimate. Your burger patty sits there getting blasted with dry heat from above while the bottom bun stays cold from the metal tray underneath. It's like your sandwich is getting a really bad sunburn on one side. The assembly process makes everything worse. Workers grab buns straight from refrigerated storage, slap on cold lettuce and tomatoes, then add the hot meat that's been sitting under those lamps for who knows how long. The cheese melts from the warm patty, but everything else stays chilly. You end up with this Frankenstein creation, where every bite feels like eating 3 different meals at 3 different temperatures. Then there's the packaging nightmare. Fast food places wrap everything in paper or foil immediately after assembly, trapping all that conflicting temperature chaos together. The hot parts start steaming, the cold parts stay cold, and moisture builds up everywhere. By the time you unwrap your burger, the bottom bun is soggy from condensation, while the top might still be cold to the touch. Rush periods make this temperature roulette even more unpredictable. When the kitchen is slammed, workers grab whatever's available fastest. Fresh cooked patties get paired with day-old buns. Cold ingredients sit out longer waiting to be used. Some locations try to speed things up by pre-assembling burgers and keeping them warm, but that just guarantees everything will be the same. Lukewarm temperature instead of hot, where it should be hot, and cool, where it should be cool. 65. You're driving through your favorite fast food joint, coffee in hand, feeling pretty good about life. Then disaster strikes. The lid on your supposedly secure coffee cup decides it's had enough of staying put and pops clean off. Hot coffee everywhere. Your lap, the car seat, probably your phone too. Welcome to the wonderful world of cheap coffee lids that couldn't hold their job if their life depended on it. Here's the thing about those flimsy lids: they're designed with one priority in mind: saving money. Fast food chains buy these things in bulk, and every penny counts when you're serving thousands of drinks daily. The plastic is thin, the fit is loose, and quality control, well, let's just say it's not exactly NASA-level precision engineering. These lids are made to barely do the job, not excel at it. But the real kicker comes when you add any pressure to the mix. Squeeze the cup slightly, lid pops, hit a small bump in the road, there goes your morning coffee. Try to drink through the little sippy hole, while the lid is slightly askew. Coffee fountain in your car. The weird part is, most people just accept this as normal. Like we've collectively agreed that coffee burns and ruined clothing are just part of the fast food experience. Then there's the size mismatch issue. Different cup suppliers, different lid suppliers, and somehow they don't always play nice together. A large cup from Tuesday might fit perfectly, but Thursday's batch uses slightly different dimensions. Your barista has no idea which lid will actually work until they try to snap it on. Makes sense, right? Actually, no, it doesn't. 66. Fast food chains have mastered the art of making food that offends absolutely no one. That's the problem. When you're trying to please millions of customers across thousands of locations, bold flavors become the enemy. Your burger tastes like cardboard because it's designed to be the safest possible version of a burger. Corporate test kitchens don't ask how can we make this amazing. They ask will anyone complain about this? The answer is usually to add more salt and call it a day. Salt is cheap, reliable, and masks the absence of actual flavor. It's like putting a band-aid on a broken leg. But hey, at least something tastes like something. Then there's the consistency obsession. Every McDonald's burger has to taste exactly like every other McDonald's burger, whether you're in Maine or Montana. This means recipes get dumbed down to the lowest common denominator. Spices cost money and create variables. Variables are scary when you're making millions of burgers. The ingredients themselves aren't exactly flavor powerhouses either. Mass-produced beef patties, processed cheese, and iceberg lettuce weren't chosen for their taste profiles. They were chosen because they're cheap, shelf-stable, and won't surprise anyone. Well, surprise, they don't taste like much of anything. And the weird part is, most customers have gotten so used to bland fast food that when they encounter actual seasoning, they think something's wrong. The chains have successfully trained our taste buds to expect mediocrity. Mission accomplished, but at what cost to our collective palate? 67. Ever walked into a fast food place only to find half the dining room blocked off with wet floor signs and cleaning carts? Welcome to the wonderful world of midday deep cleaning sessions. Most chains pick the worst possible times to scrub their floors, right when you need a place to sit and eat your lukewarm burger. The timing makes zero sense. They'll close down seating areas at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday, forcing everyone into the drive-through line that's already wrapped around the building. Staff members drag out industrial mop buckets and position them like fortress walls between you and the tables. Meanwhile, the drive-through speaker crackles with angry customers who just wanted to eat inside but now have to navigate their cars through a maze of confused drivers. What's really frustrating is the complete lack of advance notice. No signs posted yesterday, no announcement on their app. You walk in expecting to grab a quick bite, and suddenly you're staring at a dining room that looks like a hazmat cleanup zone. The teenage employee behind the counter shrugs and points toward the door with a drive-through only for the next hour announcement. The cleaning itself takes forever too. Apparently mopping requires the same level of precision as performing brain surgery. Chairs get stacked on every single table, even the ones that look perfectly clean. Some locations even shut off the lights in the dining area, creating this weird abandoned restaurant vibe that makes you question whether they're actually still serving food. By the time they reopen, your lunch break is over, and you're eating cold fries in your car. 68. Fast food chains love their drink policies more than a teenager loves their phone. You walk in expecting a simple refill like it's 1995, but suddenly you're hit with more rules than a library. Takeout customers get these tiny cups that wouldn't satisfy a hamster, while dine-in folks get the royal treatment with unlimited refills. What's the logic here? The math is brutal when you think about it. That large soda costs maybe 30 cents to make, but they're charging you $2.50 for it. Then they tell you that walking 10 feet to your car means no refills for you. Meanwhile, the person sitting at the sticky table gets to chug Diet Coke until their kidneys file a complaint. Some chains try to get fancy with refill tokens or special cups. You finish your drink and suddenly you're hunting around like it's an Easter egg hunt, looking for that magical piece of plastic that grants you more carbonated sugar water. The self-serve stations, gone faster than your patience during lunch rush. But here's where it gets really weird. Different franchise owners have different rules. One location might let you refill that medium Sprite 3 times, while the store across town treats their soda fountain like Fort Knox. Staff members sometimes don't even know their own policy, leading to awkward conversations where everyone's confused and your cup remains sadly empty. The whole system feels designed by people who've never been thirsty in their lives. You're paying premium prices for corn syrup and carbonation, but heaven forbid you want a second helping without buying another entire meal. 69. Fast food buns crumble in your hands like ancient parchment. You bite into what should be a sturdy burger holder, and instead get a mouthful of dry bread fragments raining onto your lap. The structural integrity of a McDonald's bun sometimes rivals that of wet tissue paper. Most chains receive bread deliveries just twice a week, maybe 3 times if they're lucky. Tuesday's fresh buns become Friday's geological specimens. By the weekend, those sesame seed crowns have been sitting in plastic bags, slowly losing moisture and developing the texture of sawdust. Well, at least sawdust might taste better. Humidity destroys bun texture faster than you can say special sauce. Walk into a steamy kitchen where fryers are pumping out moisture all day, and watch those buns transform into either soggy messes or brittle crackers. There's no middle ground in fast food physics. The storage areas aren't exactly climate-controlled wine cellars either. Then there's the assembly line reality. Workers grab buns at lightning speed, often squeezing them too hard or dropping them entirely. Rush hour means your burger foundation gets manhandled by someone trying to build 50 sandwiches in 10 minutes. Gentle handling isn't exactly a priority when the drive-through line wraps around the building. Most locations skip the toasting step entirely to save time. A lightly grilled bun might hold together better, but that extra 15 seconds per order adds up to longer wait times. So you get raw, room temperature bread that falls apart the moment any moisture touches it. Makes sense, right? 70. You walk into a fast food restaurant and squint at the menu board like you're trying to decode hieroglyphics. The text is microscopic, crammed together like they're trying to fit War and Peace on a highway billboard. Half the items are listed in fancy script fonts that look more like doctor handwriting than actual words. The worst part? They've got 14 different chicken sandwich variations, but good luck figuring out which one has pickles and which one will set your mouth on fire. The descriptions are either completely missing or written in marketing speak that tells you absolutely nothing. Crispy Deluxe Premium Classic could mean anything from a basic chicken patty to something that requires a small loan. Then there's the lighting situation. During the day, the sun glares off those digital boards so hard you need sunglasses just to read combo meal. At night, the brightness is cranked up so high it's like staring directly into a small sun. Either way, your eyes are watering by the time you figure out what you want. Don't even get started on the organization. Burgers are mixed in with breakfast items, desserts are randomly scattered between chicken options, and the kids' meals are hidden in some corner like they're classified information. You're standing there holding up the line, pointing at the board asking what's that one say, while the teenager behind the counter sighs dramatically. And here's the kicker. By the time you finally decode the menu and place your order, they tell you half the items aren't actually available today. 71. Fast food chains love cutting costs wherever they can. That includes the plastic utensils they hand out with your meal. Those flimsy white forks bend the moment you try to stab anything harder than lettuce. The knives? Forget about cutting through a burger patty with those things. Most chains switched to thinner plastic years ago to save pennies per customer. Multiply that by millions of customers, and suddenly those savings add up to serious money. But for you, you're stuck trying to eat a chicken sandwich with a fork that snaps in half. Paper straws present their own nightmare. They start dissolving the second they hit your drink. Within 5 minutes, you're basically trying to sip through wet cardboard. The straw collapses, gets mushy, and leaves little paper bits floating in your soda. Appetizing, right? Then there's the spoon situation. Ever tried eating a thick milkshake with a plastic spoon that crumbles under pressure? The handle breaks off, leaving you holding a tiny piece of plastic while the rest floats in your dessert. Some people end up drinking their ice cream because the spoon gave up entirely. Staff members know these utensils are garbage, but they have no choice. Corporate decides what gets ordered, and durability isn't the priority. Speed and cost savings win every time. Well, at least until customers start complaining about broken forks stabbing their fingers instead of their food. But by then you've already paid and left the store. 72. Walk into any fast food place and you'll hear it. The cashier asking if you want to upgrade your meal, make it a combo, add extra fries, try our new premium whatever it is. They're not being helpful. They're following orders from corporate to squeeze more money out of every single transaction. Staff get bonuses for hitting upsell targets. That's why they push combos even when you clearly ordered just a burger. The pressure is real. Managers track these numbers daily, and employees who don't meet quotas get lectures or fewer hours. So when that 16-year-old behind the counter keeps asking if you want to make it large, they're not trying to annoy you. They're trying to keep their job. The apps are even worse. Ever notice how ordering a simple burger becomes a digital obstacle course? The screen automatically suggests premium toppings. Default options are always the expensive ones. You have to actively click no thanks to about 7 different add-ons just to get what you originally wanted. It's designed that way on purpose. Then there's the receipt game. Your total shows 3 different upsell attempts you somehow agreed to without realizing it. Extra sauce that should be free costs 50 cents. The value meal costs more than buying items separately would have 5 years ago. But hey, at least you got a tiny upgrade on your drink size that you didn't ask for. Regular customers get especially frustrated because they know exactly what they want, yet every visit becomes a sales pitch marathon. Just sell the food, people think, but corporate sees every interaction as a revenue opportunity, not a simple transaction. 73. Fast food promotions are like catching fireflies. They're there 1 second and gone the next. You wake up excited about that $2 breakfast sandwich deal you saw advertised yesterday, only to discover it vanished faster than your motivation to hit the gym. Limited daily supply means the early birds get the worms, while everyone else gets full price disappointment. These aren't just marketing gimmicks that accidentally run out. Chains deliberately stock only enough product to last until mid-morning, creating urgency that drives foot traffic during slower hours. Your local McDonald's might have exactly 50 discounted hash browns ready for their morning rush, and once they're gone, you're paying regular price or going hungry. Digital promotions follow the same ruthless timeline. Apps flash deals that expire at noon sharp, no exceptions. The psychology behind this scarcity is brutally effective. Nothing makes people want something more than knowing it might disappear. Stores bank on customers developing FOMO about their breakfast specials, training regulars to show up earlier and earlier to beat the cutoff. Well, it works until it doesn't. Then there's the issue of franchise inconsistency. Corporate headquarters announces a nationwide promotion, but individual locations decide how much inventory to order. Some stores run out by 10 a.m., others never participated to begin with. The app doesn't update in real time, so you're driving across town for a deal that ended 3 hours ago. Rain checks, those went extinct along with pay phones and common courtesy. The message is clear: arrive early or pay full price like everyone else. 74. Fast food combos used to be the holy grail of value dining. You'd get a burger, fries, and drink for less than buying each item separately. Those days are fading faster than your appetite after seeing the bill. Today's combo deals often cost exactly the same as ordering everything individually, sometimes even more. Take McDonald's Big Mac combo versus buying the sandwich, medium fries, and medium Coke separately. In many locations, you'll pay identical prices either way. The deal becomes an illusion designed to make you feel smart while spending the same money. Burger King pulls similar tricks with their Whopper meals. Then there's the upselling trap built into these combos. Staff are trained to push you toward large sizes, premium drinks, or specialty items that jack up the total. What started as a $7 value meal suddenly becomes $12 after upgrades you didn't really want. The small combo option? Good luck finding it on the menu board. Some chains exclude popular items from combo pricing altogether. Want that spicy chicken sandwich in a meal? Pay full price for everything. The mathematical gymnastics get worse when coupons enter the picture. Your combo deal might cost more than using a buy one get one coupon on individual items. The psychological warfare is real too. Combo meals create the illusion of savings through bundling, even when no savings exist. Fast food companies know customers won't do mental math while standing in line. They're counting on you assuming the combo saves money without checking the receipt later. 75. Fast food apps love making your life complicated. You create an account, set up your payment method, and save your favorite order. Everything works perfectly for a few weeks. Then one day you try to log in and get hit with the dreaded message: for your security, please update your password. The old password you've been using for months. Suddenly it's not secure enough. The app demands a new one with at least 8 characters, including uppercase, lowercase, numbers, and special symbols. You spend 5 minutes crafting the perfect password only to discover you used that one 3 updates ago. Back to the drawing board. Here's the kicker: you're standing in line hungry, trying to use a mobile deal that expires in 2 hours. But the app won't let you proceed without changing your password first. The reset email takes forever to arrive, and when it finally shows up, it's buried in your spam folder next to offers for miracle weight loss pills. Some apps force password changes every 90 days, treating your McDonald's account like it's guarding nuclear launch codes. Others lock you out after 3 failed attempts, leaving you stranded without access to your saved payment methods or loyalty points. Meanwhile, the person behind you in line is getting increasingly impatient while you frantically type passwords into your phone. The worst part: half the time you successfully reset your password, place your order, and arrive at the store only to find out your order never made it to their system. All that password drama for nothing. You end up ordering the old-fashioned way anyway, wondering why you bothered downloading the app in the first place. 76. Fast food chains love to celebrate your birthday with free stuff. Sounds great, right? Well, good luck actually claiming those freebies. Most chains require you to download their app first, create an account, verify your email, and upload proof of your birth date. By the time you jump through all these hoops, you're wondering if a free burger is worth surrendering your personal data to corporate overlords. Then there's the redemption window. Miss your actual birthday? Too bad, some chains give you a whole week, others are stingy with just 24 hours. And the weird part is, many deals are only valid for in-person visits, no delivery, no drive-through. In some cases, you have to physically walk inside, show your phone, and hope the teenage cashier knows how to process your digital coupon. Let's not forget the participation lottery. Not all franchise locations honor corporate birthday deals. The app says you're eligible, but the local manager never got the memo. You end up arguing with someone making $12 an hour about a free cookie you technically earned just by existing for another year. Some restaurants require separate apps for each brand they own. Got a birthday freebie from the parent company. Doesn't work at their subsidiary chains. You need different accounts, different verification processes, and different redemption rules. Makes sense, right? Your birthday somehow changes depending on which branded door you walk through. The whole system feels designed to make you give up before you ever taste that free food they promised. 77. Fast food lettuce has become the equivalent of wet tissue paper draped on your burger. You bite into what should be a fresh, crispy addition, and instead get something that looks like it survived a steam room session. The wilted, sad excuse for greens clinging to your sandwich tells a story of supply chain shortcuts and storage failures. Most chains buy pre-shredded lettuce mix in massive quantities. This stuff gets chopped days before it reaches your local store. By the time it makes the journey from processing plant to distribution center to restaurant cooler, those delicate leaf edges have already started their slow march toward mushiness. Fresh lettuce doesn't survive industrial scale handling very well. Then there's the storage situation. Those walk-in coolers aren't always maintaining the right temperature. Maybe the door gets left open too long during busy periods. Maybe the cooling system isn't quite up to par. Lettuce needs specific conditions to stay crisp, and fast food kitchens aren't exactly precision environments. But here's the kicker, that lettuce often sits in prep containers for hours before landing on your order. The last batches of the day? Forget about it. By evening rush, you're getting lettuce that's been slowly dying since the morning prep shift. Add the steam from hot burger patties and melted cheese, and you've got the perfect recipe for instant wilting. The moisture gets trapped in those paper wrappers, turning everything into a soggy mess before you even unwrap your meal. 78. Fast food restaurants have mastered the art of creating maximum mess with minimum cleanup supplies. Walk into any McDonald's or Burger King and ask for extra napkins. Watch the cashier's face transform into a protective parent guarding their last cookie. They'll reluctantly slide you 2 paper-thin squares that dissolve faster than your patience. These napkins are basically tissue paper cosplaying as actual cleaning material. One barbecue sauce drip and you're done. Your hands are still sticky, your face is still messy, and now you're holding shredded napkin remnants like confetti. The math doesn't work. Greasy burgers plus saucy fries plus tiny napkins equals disaster. Then there's the rationing system. Some locations hide napkins behind the counter like state secrets. You have to specifically request them, and even then staff act like each napkin costs $1. Self-serve dispensers. Those disappeared faster than all-day breakfast menus. Corporate figured out that customers were taking too many napkins home. The worst part hits during delivery orders. Your food arrives drowning in grease, and the driver forgot napkins entirely. Now you're eating a sloppy burger with your bare hands desperately searching your kitchen for paper towels. The irony is brutal. Fast food creates the messiest eating experience possible, then provides the least effective cleanup tools. What's the real cost difference between decent napkins and these tissue paper squares? A few cents per customer maybe, but those few cents add up when you're serving millions daily. So we suffer through inadequate napkins while corporate counts their savings. 79. Most fast food chains rely on frozen beef patties, and there's a good reason for it. Fresh beef costs more, spoils faster, and requires different storage systems that many locations simply can't handle. When you're running hundreds of restaurants across the country, frozen makes financial sense. The logistics alone would be a nightmare. Fresh beef needs to arrive every few days, while frozen patties can sit in freezers for months. That's fewer deliveries, less waste, and more predictable inventory costs. Plus, frozen patties are pre-shaped and uniform. which means faster cooking times and consistent portion sizes. But here's the thing that might surprise you: not everyone can actually taste the difference. Blind taste tests have shown that many people can't distinguish between a well-cooked frozen patty and fresh beef, especially when it's loaded with sauce, cheese, and other toppings. Then there's the safety factor. Frozen beef has been through more processing steps that eliminate bacteria, while fresh ground beef carries higher risks of contamination. For chains serving millions of customers daily, that's a liability they'd rather avoid. Some premium chains like Five Guys and Shake Shack have built their entire brand around fresh beef, but they charge significantly more for it. McDonald's tried switching to fresh beef for Quarter Pounders in 2018, but kept frozen for regular burgers because the cost difference was too steep. The real kicker: most customers complaining about frozen patties still keep coming back. If taste was really the deciding factor, these chains would have switched to fresh beef years ago to stay competitive. 80. Fast food chains talk a big game about inclusivity and options for everyone. But when you're vegan, walking into most burger joints feels like entering a culinary wasteland. The menu screams meat, dairy, and eggs from every corner. Even the simplest items have hidden animal products lurking inside. Take McDonald's famous fries. You'd think potatoes fried in oil would be safe, right? Well, think again. In the United States, those golden strips contain beef flavoring. That's right. Beef in your fries. Other chains aren't much better. Burger King's veggie burger gets cooked on the same grill as beef patties, making it a no-go for strict vegans. Then there's the staff confusion factor. Ask about vegan options, and watch the blank stares multiply. Most employees haven't been trained on dietary restrictions beyond basic allergies. They'll confidently tell you the salad is vegan, while forgetting about the cheese crumbles and bacon bits sprinkled on top. Some locations don't even know which cooking oils contain animal fats. The few chains that do offer plant-based burgers often limit them to select locations. You might find a Beyond Burger at one franchise, but drive 5 miles to another store, owned by a different operator, who decided not to stock them. Supply chain inconsistencies mean vegan options come and go without warning. Cross-contamination remains a constant worry, since most kitchens weren't designed with plant-based preparation in mind. The result? Vegans often end up ordering plain salads, or going hungry. 81. Your name is Sarah. The cashier calls out order for Sandra. You wait. 5 minutes pass. Sarah. They finally shout, holding up the same bag that's been sitting there getting cold. This happens everywhere, and it's not just about similar-sounding names anymore. Fast food workers deal with hundreds of orders daily. They're scribbling names on cups while juggling drive-through headsets, mobile app notifications, and the person tapping their foot at the counter. Accuracy takes a backseat to speed. Plus, many locations now hire workers who speak English as a second language, making name pronunciation even trickier. Then there's the customer factor. Some people mumble their names. Others give nicknames that sound nothing like what's on their credit card. Call Me Spike doesn't help when your real name is Christopher, and you're picking up lunch for the office. The poor teenager behind the register is doing their best with what they hear. Mobile orders make this worse somehow. Apps autofill names from your profile, but staff still have to read them out loud. Ever tried pronouncing a name with 17 letters and no vowels? The result is usually a creative interpretation that would make your grandmother cringe. Here's the weird part. Some locations have switched to order numbers instead of names, but customers ignore the giant 47 inches on their receipt and still expect to hear Jennifer called across a crowded restaurant. The system isn't perfect, but at least your lukewarm burger eventually finds its way to your table, even if they had to call you 5 different names first. 82. Walk into any fast food restaurant and ask for a gluten-free burger. The blank stare you get tells the whole story. Most chains build their entire menu around wheat, and switching that up isn't as simple as swapping a bun. The bread situation is brutal for gluten-free diners. Burger buns, sandwich rolls, even the coating on chicken nuggets contains wheat. Some places offer lettuce wraps, but good luck getting the same satisfaction from iceberg leaves that you'd get from a toasted sesame seed bun. It's like ordering a car and getting a bicycle instead. Then there's the cross-contamination nightmare. Even if a chain stocks gluten-free buns, they're often toasted on the same surfaces as regular bread. The fryers tell an even worse story. Those crispy fries you're eyeing, they share oil with breaded chicken tenders and onion rings. One study found that dedicated gluten-free fryers exist in less than 30% of major chains. Staff training makes things even trickier. Ask about gluten-free options and you'll often get conflicting answers from different employees. Some think removing the bun solves everything, ignoring the wheat-based seasoning sprinkled on burger patties or hidden in sauces. The combo meal dream dies fast too. No gluten-free bun means no classic burger combo. Salads become the default option, but even those come with croutons or wheat-containing dressings. Many people with celiac disease end up ordering plain grilled chicken and hoping for the best. Fast food was built for speed and consistency, not dietary restrictions that affect just 1% of the population. 83. Fast food gift cards seem like the perfect solution for picky eaters or last-minute presents. Buy one, hand it over, problem solved. But here's the catch. These plastic promises don't always work when you need them most. The systems that handle gift cards aren't as universal as you'd think, even within the same chain. Walk into any location with a gift card, and there's a decent chance the cashier will swipe it 3 times before announcing it won't work. Sometimes the card wasn't activated properly at purchase, other times the store's payment system is having a bad day. Third-party gift cards from grocery stores or online retailers cause even more headaches, because they don't always sync with individual restaurant systems. Then there's the app situation. Many chains push their mobile apps hard, offering exclusive deals and discounts. But guess what? Those app-only specials often can't be combined with gift card payments. You're stuck choosing between your prepaid balance and that sweet combo deal staring at you from the screen. The most frustrating part, partially used gift cards that mysteriously lose their remaining balance. You had $12 left after your last visit, but now the system shows 0. Good luck proving you didn't spend it somewhere else. Customer service might help, but they'll need receipts, dates, and probably your firstborn child as collateral. Gift cards sound convenient until you're standing in line, holding up traffic while the manager gets called over to figure out why your plastic rectangle refuses to buy you a burger. Cash suddenly seems pretty reliable, doesn't it? 84. Fast food workers aren't exactly trained in the ancient art of sandwich origami. When you're dealing with a tortilla wrap stuffed with enough ingredients to feed a small village, physics starts working against everyone involved. The person making your wrap has about 30 seconds to fold it before the next order comes screaming through. That's not enough time to create a masterpiece. Most wraps get overstuffed because portion control goes out the window during busy hours. Staff members eyeball the fillings, and when they're rushing, eyeball means dump and hope for the best. Your chicken Caesar wrap suddenly becomes a chicken Caesar explosion waiting to happen. The thin paper wrapper they use, it's designed more for marketing than actual containment. Grease is the real villain here. Hot chicken, melted cheese, and various sauces create a perfect storm of slippery mess. The wrapper starts breaking down the moment hot food hits it. By the time your order reaches you, that paper is basically disintegrating from the inside out. Delivery makes everything worse. Your wrap bounces around in a bag for 20 minutes, getting jostled and compressed. What started as a poorly folded mess becomes a complete disaster by the time it hits your doorstep. The driver isn't exactly handling your food like fine china either. Then there's the folding technique itself. Most fast food places use the burrito fold, but they skip the crucial step of tucking the bottom properly. Without that foundation, everything falls apart on first bite. Your lunch becomes a deconstructed wrap, whether you ordered it that way or not. 85. Fast food restaurants love their soda machines, but apparently nobody told them about volume control. The constant grinding of ice dispensers sounds like a construction site during lunch rush. Every time someone fills a large Coke, the entire dining room gets treated to a symphony of mechanical churning that drowns out conversations. The carbonation system adds its own special touch too, that aggressive hissing noise when staff fill cups behind the counter. It's like listening to a snake convention, and the worst part is timing. These machines always seem loudest when you're trying to place an order or have a phone conversation. Drive-through windows make everything worse. The sound bounces off car windows and amplifies through the speaker system. You're trying to tell the cashier you want no pickles, but the ice machine decides that's the perfect moment to dump a fresh batch into the bin. Suddenly you're shouting your order like you're at a rock concert. Then there's the location factor. Older machines haven't been maintained properly, so they rattle and wheeze with every operation. The compressors work overtime, especially during summer when everyone wants cold drinks. Staff members filling multiple orders at once means the noise never stops. It's just one continuous cycle of grinding, hissing, and mechanical groaning. Makes sense why some people just point at what they want instead of trying to talk over the racket. The counter conversations become a game of charades when that soda machine decides to remind everyone it's working hard to keep those drinks cold and fizzy. 86. Fast food chains love to advertise their value meals and combo deals like they're doing you some massive favor. The marketing makes it sound like you're getting this incredible bargain by bundling your burger, fries, and drink together. But here's the thing that'll make you want to check your receipt twice. Those combos often cost exactly the same as buying everything separately. Take McDonald's for example. A Big Mac might run you $5.99 on its own. Add medium fries for $2.89 and a medium Coke for $1.99, and you're looking at $10.87 before tax. The Big Mac combo, also $10.87. Where's the savings? Well, there isn't any. The combo is just a marketing trick to make ordering faster and feel more convenient. But wait, it gets worse. Some chains actually charge more for combos than individual items. Burger King has been caught doing this multiple times. Their Whopper combo sometimes costs $12.49, while ordering each item separately totals $11.75. You're literally paying extra for the privilege of saying make it a combo. Then there's the sneaky upsell trap. Staff are trained to push you toward the large combo, because that's where the real markup lives. They'll ask if you want to make it a large for just 50 cents more, but that 50 cents often doubles their profit margin on fries and soda. The worst part. Many items get excluded from combo deals entirely. Want that spicy chicken sandwich as a combo? Nope, premium items only. You'll pay full price for everything. No bundling allowed. Fast food math rarely adds up in your favor. 87. Walk into any fast food joint at 9 p.m. and you might find the dining room already locked up tight. The employees are still there, the kitchen's still running, but those glass doors, sealed shut like Fort Knox. Drive-through only, buddy. This isn't some conspiracy against people who prefer to eat indoors. It's pure economics mixed with a hefty dose of reality. Staff shortages hit fast food harder than almost any other industry. When you're paying minimum wage and dealing with the dinner rush, finding enough people to cover both the kitchen and the front becomes a mathematical nightmare. Managers make tough choices. Keep the drive-through running, or keep the dining room open. The drive-through wins every time, because it moves more orders per hour with fewer staff members. Then there's the safety factor that nobody talks about. Late-night dining rooms can become magnets for problems, loitering, bathroom misuse, sometimes worse. It's cheaper and safer to funnel everyone through the drive-through window where interactions are quick and controlled. But here's the kicker. Many stores don't bother updating their apps or Google listings with real-time hours. You'll drive across town thinking you can grab a table and eat in peace, only to find yourself ordering through a crackling intercom while your car idles. The posted hours might say dining room open until 11 p.m., but reality says otherwise. Some locations close dining areas as early as 7 p.m. during weekdays, especially in smaller towns where foot traffic dies after dinner time. Your late-night craving just got a lot more complicated. 88. Third-party delivery apps have turned fast food into a whole different beast. What used to cost you $5 at the counter now rings up at $8 or $9 on your phone. The markup isn't even subtle anymore. A Big Mac that's $4.99 in store. That'll be $6.49 on DoorDash, plus delivery fees, service charges, and let's not forget the guilt-inducing tip screen that starts at 18%. Then there's the speed factor, which is pretty ironic. Fast food stops being fast when it sits in some driver's Honda Civic for 20 minutes while they figure out your apartment complex. Your fries arrive soggy, your burgers lukewarm, and somehow the ice cream melted even though it's January. But here's where it gets really messy. Orders get lost in translation between the app, the restaurant and the driver. You order no pickles, but the kitchen never got that memo. The driver shows up with someone else's order entirely. Good luck calling the store directly to fix it. Most locations don't even answer their phones anymore. Makes sense, right? Why would restaurants prioritize phone calls when they're juggling counter orders, drive-through lines, and 5 different delivery platforms all at once? The apps promised convenience, but they've created this weird middleman situation where nobody's really responsible when things go wrong. You're stuck dealing with customer service chatbots while your dinner gets colder. The restaurant blames the app blames the driver, and you're out $12 for a meal that would have been better if you'd just driven there yourself. 89. Kids' drinks at fast food places are basically designed to create chaos. Those tiny cups come with lids that barely stay on, and the moment a child gets their hands on one, it's game over. The lids pop off if you breathe on them wrong, and don't even think about putting them in a cup holder without expecting a sticky mess later. The straw situation makes everything worse. Most places use those flimsy paper straws now, which turn into soggy mush within minutes. Kids naturally squeeze cups when they're excited, and that cheap plastic can't handle the pressure. Before you know it, there's apple juice or milk everywhere. The cups are also way too big for small hands, making spills practically inevitable. Then there's the lid design itself. These aren't spill-proof lids like you'd find on actual kids' cups at home. They're just regular fast food lids shrunk down to fit smaller cups. The straw holes tear easily when kids poke straws through, creating bigger openings that leak even more. Some chains use lids that don't even click into place properly. Parents end up spending half their meal cleaning up drink spills instead of eating. The smart ones ask for extra napkins the moment they order, but even that's not always enough. Drive-through orders are the worst because you don't realize there's a problem until you're already back on the road with sticky seats and cranky kids. Makes you wonder why no chain has figured out truly spill-proof options yet. 90. Fast food loyalty programs promise the world, but deliver confusion instead. You earn points by spending money, which sounds simple enough until you actually try to use them. Most apps require a minimum point threshold that feels impossibly high. Spend $50 to earn a free medium fries. That's not loyalty. That's a math problem, designed to frustrate you. The redemption process itself is a nightmare. Half the menu items aren't eligible for point redemption, and the ones that are often disappear from the app without warning. You finally accumulate enough points for that free burger, only to discover it's been replaced with a seasonal item you've never heard of. Meanwhile, your points are quietly expiring in the background like milk left in a hot car. Then there's the staff confusion factor. Walk into any location and try to redeem points at the counter instead of through the app. The teenage cashier will stare at you like you're speaking ancient Greek. Most employees have no idea how the loyalty system works, leaving you fumbling with your phone while a line of hungry customers builds behind you. The terms and conditions read like a legal document written by someone who genuinely hates customers. Points expire after 90 days of inactivity, but only on Tuesdays, and only if Mercury isn't in retrograde. Well, maybe not that last part, but the actual rules are almost as ridiculous. Some chains even have different point values for different menu categories, turning your lunch order into advanced calculus. 91. Public restrooms have become a battleground at fast food restaurants, with many chains now requiring a purchase before granting access. You walk up to the door only to find it locked tight, forcing you to buy something just to use basic facilities. The policy stems from legitimate concerns about safety, cleanliness and crowd control, but it creates genuine hardship for travelers, families with young children, and anyone caught in an emergency situation. The homeless population presents a particular challenge for restaurant managers. Some locations have experienced issues with people camping in restrooms, using them for bathing, or creating unsafe conditions for paying customers. Rather than addressing these social issues individually, many franchises implement blanket customers-only policies that affect everyone. Staff members often feel uncomfortable enforcing these rules, especially when dealing with elderly customers or parents desperately trying to get their kids to a bathroom. Well, the irony runs deep when you consider that many of these same restaurants actively court foot traffic through their marketing. They want you walking past their doors, smelling their food, seeing their promotions. But heaven forbid you need to use their restroom without buying a dollar menu item first. Some locations post signs stating the policy clearly, while others leave it to overwhelmed teenage employees to play bathroom bouncer. The worst part, different franchises of the same chain may have completely different policies. One McDonald's might welcome anyone, while another requires a receipt to get the restroom key. Parents planning road trips have learned to call ahead or stick to gas stations where restroom access remains more predictable and straightforward. 92. Walk into any fast food joint during lunch rush, and you'll hear it immediately. The relentless symphony of beeps, dings and mechanical whirs that make conversation nearly impossible. Those fryers aren't just cooking your food, they're broadcasting every sizzle at maximum volume, while timers scream for attention every 30 seconds. The kitchen design makes everything worse. Most chains ditched the old hidden kitchen model years ago for that trendy open concept look. Great for showing transparency, terrible for noise control. When your dining table sits 15 feet from industrial equipment running at full blast, you're basically eating inside a factory. The beeping never stops because orders never stop. Every basket of fries gets its own timer. Every burger patty triggers an alert. Even the ice machines join the chorus with their grinding and churning. Then there's the real kicker. Staff barely notice anymore. They've developed selective hearing after working 8-hour shifts surrounded by mechanical chaos. But customers trying to have a simple conversation. We're stuck shouting over fryers that sound like jet engines and ovens that beep louder than smoke alarms. The weird part is how some locations seem quieter than others, usually because they're slower or have better sound dampening. Your peaceful lunch break just became an endurance test. Parents can't hear their kids, friends give up mid-sentence, and phone calls become impossible. Fast food was supposed to be quick and easy, not a test of your ability to lip-read through industrial noise pollution. 93. Fast food coffee has a reputation problem, and frankly, it's earned every bit of it. Walk into most chains after 2 p.m. and that fresh brew has been sitting on a warmer since the breakfast rush ended hours ago. The result? A bitter, burnt-tasting mess that would make your grandmother's day-old coffee seem gourmet. Here's the thing about high-volume coffee operations. They prioritize quantity over quality every single time. These places make massive batches because brewing individual pots throughout the day requires staff attention that's already stretched thin. When you're flipping burgers, taking orders, and cleaning spills, monitoring coffee freshness becomes an afterthought. The beans themselves, well, they're chosen for cost-effectiveness, not flavor profiles. Then there's the cleaning issue. Coffee machines need regular deep cleaning to prevent oil buildup from old grounds, but when did you last see a fast food worker dismantling a coffee maker during their shift? Those machines get a quick rinse if they're lucky. Old coffee oils create that signature burnt taste that no amount of cream can mask. But here's the weird part. Some locations actually serve decent coffee early in the morning when everything's fresh. It's like playing coffee roulette with your taste buds. The 7 a.m. cup might be surprisingly good while the 7 p.m. version tastes like it was filtered through charcoal. Staff turnover means inconsistent brewing techniques too. One worker might make it strong, another weak, and nobody's following a standardized process that would ensure consistency across shifts. 94. Pizza at fast food joints often looks like someone played a cruel joke on your expectations. You order a slice expecting decent coverage, but what arrives resembles a cheese desert with occasional pepperoni mirages scattered across the landscape. The math doesn't add up when you're paying premium prices for what appears to be kindergarten art project toppings. While most chains operate on strict portion control that would make a prison warden proud, each pepperoni slice gets counted like precious currency, with employees trained to distribute exactly 12 pieces across an entire large pizza. The cheese, that's measured by weight down to the gram, ensuring maximum profit margins while leaving customers squinting to find actual coverage on their crust. Here's where it gets ridiculous though. The assembly line workers have about 30 seconds to dress each pizza before it hits the oven. Speed trumps accuracy every time, so toppings slide toward whatever edge gravity prefers. By the time your slice reaches the counter, half the pepperoni has migrated to one corner like it's staging a tiny meat rebellion. And the weird part is how chains photograph their menu boards. Those glamorous shots show pizzas loaded with perfect topping distribution and generous cheese pulls that could star in food commercials. Reality delivers something that looks like it survived a natural disaster. The promotional images use double or triple the standard topping amounts, creating impossible expectations that no actual store location could ever match without going bankrupt on ingredient costs alone. 95. Walk into any fast food joint during summer, and you'll hear it before you see it. That constant whooshing sound of air conditioning units working overtime. The problem? These systems weren't designed for quiet dining experiences. They were built to keep kitchens cool and food safe. Most fast food restaurants use industrial-grade HVAC systems that can move thousands of cubic feet of air per minute. When you're flipping hundreds of burgers and running multiple fryers, you need serious ventilation power. But here's the catch, all that power comes with noise. The average fast food restaurant's air system produces around 65 decibels of sound. That's roughly equivalent to normal conversation volume, except it never stops. Then there's the maintenance issue. These systems run 12-16 hours daily, 7 days a week. Worn bearings start rattling, loose ductwork vibrates, fan blades get unbalanced from grease buildup. When was the last time you saw a maintenance crew deep cleaning those ceiling vents? The worst spots are always near the kitchen entrance where the heavy-duty exhaust fans kick into overdrive. Families trying to enjoy a meal get blasted with mechanical white noise that makes normal conversation nearly impossible. Kids have to shout to be heard. Elderly customers strain to catch every word. And here's what really gets people frustrated. The temperature is never quite right either. The system might be loud enough to drown out your thoughts, but you're still shivering because the thermostat is set to accommodate workers in a 400-degree kitchen environment, not customers sitting still in the dining room. 96. Walk into any fast food restaurant with kids, and you'll spot them immediately, those plastic high chairs that look like they've survived a food fight from the Stone Age. The weird part is, nobody seems to clean these things properly between uses. You're strapping your toddler into what amounts to a science experiment of dried ketchup, mystery crumbs, and sticky substances that defy identification. The tray slides back and forth like it's coated in syrup. The seat cushion, let's just say it's seen better decades. Most locations have maybe 1 or 2 high chairs total. Makes sense, right? Well, not when half the customers are families during peak hours. Parents end up playing musical chairs waiting for someone else's kid to finish their Happy Meal. Meanwhile, the available chair hasn't been wiped down since the Clinton administration. The buckles are another nightmare entirely. They're either so gunked up they won't close, or they're mysteriously sticky from whatever the previous occupant was eating. Some parents bring their own sanitizing wipes because they know what they're dealing with. Smart move. Then there's the positioning problem. These chairs get shoved into corners where nobody thinks to clean regularly. Staff members are rushing around handling orders, not inspecting high chair hygiene. And the weird part is, restaurants will deep clean their grills and fryers daily, but somehow overlook the furniture where the most vulnerable customers sit. The bottom line, your child's dining experience might include a free side of bacteria with their chicken nuggets. Bring your own wipes, or better yet, consider takeout. 97. Walk into any fast food restaurant today and you'll probably notice something missing near the front door. No little dispenser pumping out that clear sanitizing gel we all got used to seeing everywhere. It's like the pandemic never happened, right? Well, not exactly. Most chains simply stopped restocking those dispensers once the initial COVID panic died down. Makes sense from a business perspective. Those little bottles cost money, and someone has to remember to refill them constantly. When you're already dealing with staff shortages and teenagers who forget to restock napkins, hand sanitizer becomes pretty low priority. Then there's the placement issue. Ever notice how some stores put the dispenser in the weirdest spots? Behind a pole, next to the trash can, or so close to the door that it gets knocked over every time someone rushes in. Poor planning meets reality, and customers just walk right past without noticing. But here's the kicker, some locations never had them to begin with. Franchise owners weren't required to install sanitizer stations, so plenty just skipped the whole thing. Why spend money on something that's not mandatory? Their logic was simple. There's soap in the bathroom if people really want to clean their hands. Staff members are usually too swamped to monitor sanitizer levels anyway. Between managing drive-through lines, cleaning tables, and dealing with lunch rushes, checking if the hand sanitizer needs a refill ranks somewhere below remember to smile at customers. The result? Empty dispensers that sit there for weeks fooling exactly nobody. 98. Fast food toy recalls happen more often than most parents realize. The Consumer Product Safety Commission has flagged dozens of fast food toys over the past decade for choking hazards, sharp edges, and lead paint. But here's the kicker, most parents never hear about these recalls until it's too late. Those colorful plastic figurines and mini gadgets might look harmless, but they're mass-produced overseas with minimal safety testing. Small parts that break off easily become instant choking risks for toddlers. Sharp plastic edges can cut little fingers. Some toys contain magnets that pose serious internal injury risks if swallowed. The real problem: fast food chains don't always remove dangerous toys from circulation quickly enough. Even after a recall is issued, leftover inventory sometimes stays in restaurants for weeks. Staff aren't always informed about which toys to pull from distribution. Then there's the age labeling issue. A toy marked ages 3 and up might still contain parts perfect for a 2-year-old to choke on. Parents grabbing a quick meal don't always check these warnings carefully. The excitement of getting a free toy overrides caution. Battery-powered toys present another headache entirely. Tiny button batteries can be deadly if swallowed, causing internal burns within hours. Yet some kids' meal toys still use these dangerous power sources without secure battery compartments. The worst part? When parents try to exchange unsafe toys, many locations claim they can't do returns on promotional items, so families are stuck with potentially dangerous toys that came with their chicken nuggets. Makes you wonder if that free toy is worth the risk, right? 99. Fast food chains love promoting their kids' meals with colorful cups and fun packaging, but walk into most locations asking for milk or juice for your child, and you'll hit a wall. The drink options shrink dramatically when you try to avoid soda, Many stores stock apple juice boxes somewhere behind the counter, but staff often forget they exist. Others run out of milk by noon and never restock until the next delivery truck arrives days later. The weird part is that parents specifically choose kids' meals, thinking they're getting healthier options. Yet the drink selection forces you toward sugary sodas or artificially flavored fruit punches. Some locations offer chocolate milk, but it's usually the ultra-processed kind loaded with more sugar than a candy bar. Makes sense, right? The chain promotes family dining but ignores what parents actually want for their kids. Then there's the pricing issue. When juice or milk is available, it often costs extra compared to the free soda that comes with the meal. Parents end up paying more for what should be the obvious healthy choice. Staff sometimes act surprised when you ask for alternatives, like they've never heard the request before. "We have orange soda," becomes the confused response to a simple milk request. Let's not forget how this affects parents trying to make better choices. You're already at a fast food restaurant, probably feeling guilty about not cooking at home. The last thing you need is to discover that getting your kid a simple glass of milk requires a treasure hunt through the store's hidden inventory. 100. Fast food combos have become calorie bombs disguised as convenient meals. A typical combo meal at most major chains easily surpasses 1,000 calories before you even think about dessert. That large soda alone packs around 300 calories, while the fries contribute another 400-500 calories of deep-fried starch. The burger itself, often 600-800 calories depending on how many patties and sauces get slapped on. McDonald's Big Mac combo clocks in at roughly 1,100 calories. Burger King's Whopper combo hits similar numbers. Wendy's Dave's Double combo, you're looking at over 1,200 calories in one sitting. For context, the average adult needs about 2,000 calories per day. One combo meal literally provides more than half your daily energy needs. But here's the weird part. Most people don't realize they're consuming an entire day's worth of food in 20 minutes. The calorie counts are buried in tiny print or hidden behind QR codes that nobody scans. Menu boards focus on mouth-watering descriptions, not nutritional reality. Then there's the portion creep that's happened over decades. What used to be a large fry is now considered medium. Drink sizes have inflated to ridiculous proportions. Some large sodas contain enough liquid to fill a small fishbowl. The value in value meals often means getting more food than any human reasonably needs. Chain restaurants design these combos to feel like deals, but they're really calorie traps. The math is simple: more food means more profit, even if customers end up consuming enough calories for an entire day before dinner time arrives. 101. You wake up at 10 p.m. craving pancakes and hash browns. Your stomach is practically begging for that syrupy goodness. So you roll up to McDonald's, hoping they'll hook you up with some breakfast magic. But nope, the teenager at the drive-thru window looks at you like you just asked for a unicorn sandwich. "We only serve burgers after 10:30 a.m., sir." Welcome to one of fast food's most maddening rules. Most chains completely flip their menus when breakfast hours end. That griddle that was cooking your eggs, it's now dedicated to burger patties for the rest of the day. The staff literally can't make you pancakes even if they wanted to help you out. Here's the thing about kitchen equipment at these places. Space is incredibly limited. Those tiny griddles behind the counter can't handle both breakfast and dinner items at the same time. When morning rush ends, everything gets cleaned and switched over to the lunch setup. Hash browns get replaced by French fries. Egg cookers get shut down completely. McDonald's tried all-day breakfast for a few years, and customers loved it. But guess what happened during the pandemic? Most locations quietly dropped it and never brought it back. The complexity was just too much for understaffed kitchens to handle. Taco Bell still offers breakfast items later in some places, but they're the exception, not the rule. Then there's the supply chain reality. Breakfast ingredients like eggs and sausage patties aren't ordered in quantities that would last all day. By evening, most locations have literally run out of breakfast supplies. Your late-night pancake craving will have to wait until 6 a.m. rolls around again.